There we go, now it's working. Tweet out to the Wazol, share to the Poker Faces. Alright, then shut the live chat instead of top chat. And you can hear raw film music playing. But first, we're gonna watch this little video from some guy named James Lister Express Lane. Just say no, I can't visit my parents, they're not worth it. Just trying to kill time until DSP starts.
You want to do any kind? No, I don't want to do any substance at all. Has nothing to do with this level of addictiveness, its danger level. I just don't want to get on any other substance. You understand? None.
Any other substance other than, you know, the copious amounts of alcohol. Tachi! Keep mashing buttons. How's it going, guys?
The one thing, like I said, there's a
Don't forget to hit that like button. Nick.
phrase. It's called pick your poison, correct? It's like you got to choose the one thing in life that you're going to do that you know is bad for you. And as long as you do it in moderation, you're okay. I drink in moderation, so I'm okay. And that's the thing that I like to do, and that's it. So enough with your
You do not drink in moderation. You drink copious amounts of alcohol. All day, every day. You have not missed a day of alcohol, just like you've not missed a day of WWE Champions, jackass. Alright, before we get on to the main part of the video, I want to cover this real quick. Let's watch.
Someone tipped $1 and says,
That's a little weird hearing my voice.
edibles and weed. Okay. I want you to understand
Justin!
something. All right, I do. I feel like I need to speak up about something.
For those who don't know, he said he tried weed in the past and it made him puke. Weed does not make you puke. You're an idiot.
Okay? You understand that recreational drugs are still drugs. You get that, right? It's still
And you understand that alcohol is still a fucking drug.
a drug. Now, it might be a safe drug in certain extents or whatever. It's still
This coming from the alcoholic.
a drug. Okay? There's a difference between saying, hey, try a piece of food versus, hey, actually put drugs into your 43-year-old body. All right?
Tommy Chong's 86 years old. And yet, Cheech and Chong, you know who they are? Especially Tommy Chong? Probably what, their 70s and still smoking weed? But guys, that's a drug. Yeah, it's weed. It's not that big a deal.
Age that I'm at, my middle age, I have to do things that aren't harmful to my body. Why do you think I've completely changed my lifestyle, my diet? How do you think I lost all?
Changed your diet? You're constantly eating fast food. And not just on stream. Remember when you ordered the snack burgers from Wendy's at midnight? Because you were hungry? Because you eat dinner at 4 o'clock in the afternoon your time? Maybe if you didn't eat dinner at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you wouldn't be hungry for Wendy's snack burgers. Jackass.
All this weight by doing harmful things to my body? No. Okay? Absolutely not. Sitting around eating edibles, taking THC is the worst thing I could do for myself right now.
That'd actually probably be one of the better things you could do. Oh no, guys, I'm mellowed out. I feel calm. I feel better, guys. Yeah, that'd be so much worse than getting drunk. I'm sure.
At this stage in my life, I also have absolutely no desire to get myself into some kind of a controlled substance like that.
Alcohol. You're an alcoholic.
All right? That now it could become addictive. It could become something that's detrimental to my life. And quite frankly, I don't appreciate you trying to pressure me into it. I'm not saying...
Don't peer pressure me, guys. Stop trying to peer pressure me. I don't want to join the cool kids club.
that's what you meant by it. But so many people take it as like something as a joke or casual. It's not. You do understand that when you get...
It's not a drug. At this point, marijuana is not a fucking drug. Alcohol is more of a drug. Yeah, his anxiety would be insane. He'd probably think detractors trying to get... I would love to see how paranoid he'd get.
Into shit like that, you could actually be changing your entire life, right?
Just say no to drugs is completely... Well, then again, he was born and raised in the 80s and never left it. He's never left the 80s. You know why he doesn't wear glasses? Because nerds get beat up for wearing glasses. Yeah, back in the 80s. Guys, I watch this movie, so that's how I base my life off of everything. Yeah, you base your life off a movie from the 80s. That's how the house was supposed to be. The man works and the wife cleans, just like in the movies I watched in the 80s. Yeah, he's never grown up from that. It's absolutely fucking pathetic. But now, onto the rest of the video. Hello, and welcome to James, the Lesser Express Line, where we get you in and out as fast as possible with... Guys, my parents are dying. Until they aren't. But then they're dying again. But now they're not. Remember, Daddy sent him a picture of the fish he was catching. So his dad in such good health, he's able to go out and go fishing, but he's on his deathbed. Why does that not make any sense? Anyways, let's watch.
It's sad when your parents get older and they're just not like they used to. Like, no exaggeration, it sucks. I haven't seen my parents since 2019.
That is your fault. You make your own schedule.
The idea was...
You know, at some point we all decided that...
Oh no, an ad. Don't click on the ad.
Out here in 2014. And my parents were going to visit once a year, or maybe once every other year.
Gets drunk every single fucking day.
That was the whole point. Because I told them outright, I said, I want you guys to understand.
But when they did come out there to see you, you made them stay in a hotel. Big ass condo, multiple bedrooms, you made them stay in a hotel room. Jackass.
And something. I don't want to go back to Connecticut. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing really there. There's a zoo. And there's Italian food, and that's it. Like, if they come...
His parents are not enough reason to go back to Connecticut. He cannot go to Connecticut for a week to visit his parents, because they're not worth it. The zoo, the food, maybe. His parents, no.
Here, there's stuff to do, right? When you come to Seattle, there's all kinds of fun things. There's restaurants, there's all kinds of tours.
Restaurants, again, food.
And there's things to do here. For me to visit them in Connecticut, there's fucking nothing going on. It's boring, okay?
Except that's where your parents are. Mr. Guys, my parents are dying. They're on death's door. They can't fly out here. Well, then fly out to see them.
Okay, and it's expensive, too. So that was the idea, is that they were going to come visit me.
Reeee.
Maybe every year, every other year. You know what I'm saying? And then what ended up happening was...
They flew out once. You made them sleep in a hotel room. Jackass. You notice that nose twitch? That was kind of weird.
Basically, they visited that first year for Christmas. And then they visited in the summer of 2016. And then everything fell apart. My aunt got ill. And so my parents had to basically be taking care of her constantly. She eventually passed away. Then their health both turned for the worse.
But again, his dad's going fishing. His dad's going out and doing stuff outdoors. His dad's healthy enough to go hiking to the fishing spot, but not healthy enough to sit on an airplane.
To the point where they can't travel. They basically are kind of like, not that they're completely homebound, but they can't really...
You mean like Cat is?
Do much. They can't, outright told me, there's no way we could fly out there. You know what I mean? To spend time with you. We just can't. So, you know, it's life. And I was like, damn, the whole plan fell apart from the get-go. You know, we were planning on this, just within 2 years, the whole thing stopped. So, you know, sucks. What can you do? Right? But I hear you. And it's not just them, too. I have other relatives and other friends and things that I hear about all the time. It's like, damn, this person passed away.
Friends? What friends? Are you talking about T again?
Passed away? That's insane. They were, you know, young. They were vibrant. They were healthy. How did this person pass away out of nowhere? The older you get, the more this stuff hits you. And the more it hits you, the more you realize what's actually important in life.
Is sitting in your condo crying and begging for money. We know. But that DoorDash and gin ain't gonna pay for itself.
And that's when you mature up and you stop being an asshole.
And yet, you're still an asshole.
At least for me, that's exactly what happened. Like, I outright admit, when I was younger, I was an immature asshole.
See, his parents? No, never. You still are an immature asshole.
I was a troll. I was a jerk. I said and did irresponsible things. I didn't really give a fuck. And then as I got older and I realized I have limited time on this planet, and I have limited time to spend with people on this planet, and there's people who are very near and dear to me
that you refuse to see. You refuse to go see your parents. And you know what you could do? So you can keep making money and maybe not pay for a hotel or not pay for flight costs because your wife probably take up 2 seats you had to pay for. And what you can do? Drive. You have what, 30,000 miles on that Toyota? Put some mileage on it. Drive across the country. Do a cross-country tour. Be like, all right, guys, here we are near the Grand Canyon. Okay, guys, here we're at Yosemite. Okay, guys, here we are at St. Louis to see the Arch. Okay, guys, here in Chicago, we're gonna go visit the area where they used to film ER. All right, guys, we're in, I would say Toledo, but go to Toledo, go see a Walla game or a Mudhens game. All right, guys, we're in Cleveland. We're gonna go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame near here. All right, guys, we're in Pittsburgh. We're gonna go down and check this out. All right, guys, we're in wherever. You could do that. Nope, can't do that, guys.
who I may not be able to see or do stuff with much longer. Things hit me like a ton of bricks. I think it's time to change my life. It's time to change who I am.
Good point. He doesn't have the driver's license that you need. What is it, the real ID? He doesn't have a passport because he's never left the country. Guys, how am I supposed to fly? Well, as you just heard me say, drive. Cass's driver's license, make her ass drive.
As a person, as a creator, it's time to, do things better for myself, for my family, and to basically not be an irresponsible douchebag only out for myself for the rest of my life.
But you are a douchebag out for only yourself in your WWE Champions addiction.
And a lot of people, I think, will come to that realization.
Cat fly, dude. Do you know how much 2 seats would cost?
When they hit a certain age. For me,
exactly.
it was like the last 7 years of my life that basically this has happened. I was like, oh shit. But for a lot of people, it's just different things that happen, right? Different things that hit them or whatever. But I also feel like that's why a lot of people on the internet don't have that level of self-awareness or that level of maturity because they're just not in that situation right now.
C-130. A 10-year-old is more mature than you are.
Maybe if they were, all of a sudden their attitudes would change. But, for me, I literally could not be someone who would be okay making a living being a disgusting,
I have not watched the
nasty
Mortal Kombat
person.
animated movies, but that is how you make a living. That is literally what you do. All right, guys. We only got 2 hours to go, and we're only at $73, guys. We're not even at halfway towards the goal. What the fuck's wrong with you assholes? Give me money. $50? Dude, that's money you could be spending on WWE champions. That is what you do. Multiple times a day. Every day. DSP, this is what you fucking do. This is what you fucking are.
To people all day, every day. Like, I just couldn't do it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want, I could never live with constant drama, internet bullying. I couldn't do it. Every once in a while, you want to joke around or whatever, but for me to do that seriously.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the final
DSP started.
guys, before WrestleMania 41. It's
It actually
time
would-
for episode 13, the big pre-show hype. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here tonight broadcasting live on YouTube and on Kick. And with me tonight is my third and final where is my third and final co-host? Hello?
What the fuck?
What the hell?
Oh my god, are you kidding?
Hi. Oh.
Hello, Phil.
Hello, it's someone on the internet who you might know, or you might not, whose name is Gahul. And ladies and gentlemen, my third co-host here on Smark Guys, now for the WrestleMania build-up show, is actually the Shockmaster in the flesh. But no, that was the Shockmaster gag. Very well done, by the way. Nice, you pulled that one off. Looked really good.
I hope it went well. I mean, I didn't fall, did I? I didn't trip. It looked cool, right?
Oh, it looked great. That looked great. People right now are saying, who the hell is this and what the hell is going on? So I think we should do a little bit of an introduction. Would you like to introduce yourself, sir?
Gahul, you'll find out.
Absolutely. So, for those of you not in the know, which is I'm assuming everyone on the stream chat right now, my name is Gahul. And in fact, long ago in the distant year of 2021, I
Whoa.
co-hosted a wrestling podcast with one Ashton Parks, PPP, People's
Whoa,
Popular
whoa,
Press.
whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on. No, 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 no. Well, I don't believe you because PPP is not a fan of pro wrestling. All right. We all know that PPP hates it. Only he's outright said on his show, only retarded people like pro wrestling. So there's absolutely no way that this guy would have possibly covered pro wrestling in the past or talked with anyone else about pro wrestling. He only did this show with me to make fun of me, and we all know this. He said this publicly.
Yeah.
So I don't believe you, man. I hope you've got a lot of receipts and dirt about this guy, because I don't think that right now it's a very convincible argument.
Well, listen, man. If he wants to say only retards like wrestling, well, you know what? Then he's a retard. I'm a retard. We're all a big group of retards.
What the
What can you say?
fuck?
I like wrestling. What do you mean he doesn't? We talked about wrestling for it was literally over a year. Our first interaction online really was a pretty heated debate about pro wrestling, and he had actual strong opinions about pro wrestling. And I'm assuming he still does to this day. He's just talking out his ass to get a rise out of people. But what can you do? But yeah, man. Way back in the day, 2021, we hosted a show called 5 Pounds of Gunt. It was
Whoa.
me and PPP. It was on my channel. Only 5 pounds. It was supposed to be 10 pounds of Gunt, like the 10 pounds of gold NWA title, right? But I actually am retarded a little bit stupid, frankly. What can you do? And I got the math wrong. I said 5, but it was 5 pounds of Gunt.
Wow.
Ran for a good couple episodes. Ran for about a year. You know, we
Okay.
had a good time. It was fun.
Yep.
It
Another
actually
person
not
was a
bad.
hate one over
We
PPP.
had a good year run of it. We went to, that year's Wrestlemania. We didn't go, but we covered that year's Wrestlemania. We covered some stuff afterwards. Eventually, though, like all great things, all great internet shows, ended up in a blow up of drama where
Really?
we just it was live on air. The final episode of 5 Pounds of Gun, which is on my channel right now,
So this show, to be clear, this was just
is us having the big breakup.
was this a pre-recorded show that you just would upload after the fact? Was it live streamed? I'm just curious what the nature of the show was.
Live. It was a live show.
It was live streamed on YouTube. Oh, okay. That's cool. So you had an audience, and this all went down live in front of an actual audience. That's interesting. And so this,
It was about
it wasn't
was a small
pre-planned or
audience.
anything, right? It just kind of happened out of nowhere.
Yeah, we had about like 15 people, 20 people watched it. No one was really watching. It was mostly because it was on my channel. I don't have a very popular channel. It is what it is. Although I will say I've got some big hits on there. Some You Don't Mess with the Zohan reviews, 500,000 views. What can you do? It's a good video. But so the final episode, which you can watch, it's if you go in the playlist, it's I believe it is. Let me pull this up.
Yeah. And what is the name of your channel on YouTube so everyone can find it if they want to check it out?
It's Gahul. It's Gahul. You might get the movie Guardians of Gahul, but you're looking for Gahul. If you look Gahul like Incel or Gahul TV channel, you'll get it there. But you're looking for 5 Pounds of Gunt season 2 episode 3. It's the final episode.
Okay.
About an hour in, we just fucking devolve and descend on each other, and he just starts ripping me a new one. I start ripping him a new one. And all of this centered around a contention point, which was PPP's e-girlfriend, frankly. Or rather,
hold on. I'm not in on all this lingo. E-girlfriend. Are you saying that it was a girlfriend that he had that was solely online and he didn't spend time with? Or are you saying that it actually wasn't even a real girl? It was like...
So this is not going to be smart guys talking about wrestling. It's going to be shitting on PPP. Two people who don't like PPP shitting on him. Wow, what a great show there, DSP.
An avatar? Like, what does e-girlfriend actually mean?
Yeah, so it's his online girlfriend. He actually had multiple online girlfriends, multiple at the same time. He was the PPP, the pup of a pimp game, as he said. So this whole blow up shit happened.
This is so
He
fucking
stopped
stupid and
doing the show
ridiculous.
because I got mad at this guy for hanging out with this girl named Snacks. And if you want more in-depth details, I made like a 2-hour documentary about this on my channel as well. It's called Conspiracy Theory. Great video, my magnum opus, really. But
so Snacks,
essentially-
this was a real person who went online by Snacks. This wasn't a catfish. This was actually a real person who existed.
the real woman,
You mean like how Panda Lee went by Panda Lee? But she is not Asian.
a real woman who wanted to have e-sex with PPP, which is great for him. Yeah, if more power to him. Frankly, I understand that. But reality is, this e-girl, I did some research. I did a little digging because he kind of like, sent her to try to embarrass me on my stream a couple of times, sent her into my Discord to like make fun of me, just being playful banner. But I'm paranoid.
While you were doing the show, he was doing this, right? This wasn't after
Yeah,
the fact.
while we were supposedly friends and doing the show.
Okay.
So I did some digging into this girl. Turns out this Snacks e-girl, who, by the way, he cheated on a previous Irish e-girl, who I don't know that person's name, but he had a
How do you
previous
cheat?
e-girl.
Wait. How do you cheat on an e-girl? It's not a real relationship. How could you be cheating? I don't even. What?
I know. Well, he was e-dating this one girl, and then he started e-dating this other girl at the same time, and they would, take photos where he had them put their heads in the toilet. He would send them foot pics and, ask for high heel photos and stuff. Really not very fun stuff. And, they would send him, they would draw him porn of him with Cyndaquil from Pokemon.
What the fuck?
They would do
someone actually posted online.
What? For real?
Oh yeah, Cat. You mean Chaos Realm? How are these people using e-names like Chaos Realm and Panda Lee and Darkside Phil, DSPGaming? How dare people use e-names online?
Yeah, they posted a photo of that online. That was on. If you go to Kill Kino Casino's stream with me a couple of weeks ago, which, by the way, on that show I promised I wouldn't talk about PvP again, but it's Darkside Phil, man. I can't. It's the legend. It's the legend, Darkside Phil. How could I not take the opportunity to come on
For the record, okay, as you guys know, I don't get involved with any of this online drama stuff at all, okay? But when Gahul contacted
He doesn't get involved in it,
several weeks
except
ago,
he is right
I
now.
used to be the former co-host of a wrestling show with PPP. Our show also got into drama. We also basically had gotten to a big online tip, and it would be perfect for me to come on because I'm a big fan of wrestling, but also I have all this history. I was like, I've got to take advantage of this. I got to get this guy on to talk bull.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this guy is the real deal. He knows his stuff. He's got the history, and I'm trying to get to the bottom of this because I've literally, just so you guys know, I have not spoken with him in any kind of detail whatsoever about any of the stuff we're about to talk about. Okay, I don't know anything about it. This is him coming to me and be like, I'm the guy who was involved, and I'm like, holy shit, this guy loves to go on his show. I'm talking about PPP going on Kino Casino, and he just likes to snipe and dump on everyone else on the internet, right? He's the one who's going to be the big guy who's going to talk shit, right? The king shit.
I thought this was supposed to be a wrestling show.
The king shit has a lot of skeletons in his.
Let's go, Hool, former
about.
partner of PPP.
And now people are coming out to talk about them.
He loves when the ladies put the heads in the toilets, folks. What can you say? That's what he likes.
What does that even mean? Heads in the. So he would actually tell them to put their heads in a toilet and send a picture.
Yes.
What?
That's what got him off, man. And listen, it's a bit gross, and obviously, we're joshing here a little bit, but no, that was a serious photo that they sent. But I mean, here's the deal. At the end of the day, what was going on? If he wants to do this with his e-girlfriend, it's whatever. But at the time, and then maybe I was a little bit overzealous with this, I was a very much heavy no e-girl kind of guy. I'm like, e-girls are a really bad influence on you. I felt bad for my friends. Like, listen, man, I could tell. And we had some arguments back and forth. He chat talked me with his friend Godwinson. They talk shit about my family, right? Which, in that sector of the world, it was fair game. But I got a little bit heated. I got mad. And I said, you know what? You want to talk shit about me? Well, I got some crazy shit about you, man. So I'm going to make a video about you. About this e-girl. I said, I'm not going to make a video about PvP. I'm going to make a video about this e-girl. And he knew about this, and he's like, we knew this before this stream. We knew about this. I told him like months ago that I was going to do this. And then on this 5 Pounds a Gun, he starts confronting me like, oh, you're gonna try and burn me with this stuff. It's like, well, listen, man, you're associating with this e-girl, and if it's one thing with a weird e-girl, but this shit was not good. And I'm gonna go into some detail here because what I'm about to say is like serious allegation shit. And I don't want to come up with no receipts because I do actually have multiple witnesses.
Wow.
Multiple people who have come forward about this after the fact to talk about this shit. Where this e-girl Snacks, who, mind you, if you're a guy in PPP,
Oh yeah, Kino's gonna love this. Hey Vito.
If an e-girl showed up and said, "I want to date you, man," handed herself to you on a silver platter, it'd be hard to say no. You probably wouldn't look into her backstory, which I understand. But it wasn't that. He actually had multiple e-girl options. At least one. He chose this e-girl over another e-girl, right? So
hold on, because I want to be sure I'm understanding the whole situation before we get into the specifics of this Snacks girl. So PPP at this time, because we're talking, this is 2021. Okay, this is long before Kino Casino, correct?
Wouldn't surprise me, Benny. Wouldn't surprise me at all.
I'm just doing a small time wrestling show together, and
yeah, this last episode was just after he got kicked out of his house with his friend who used to live with his friend named Surfer. Now, I don't know if he's talked to you about Surfer and
no.
Yeah, I thought it was supposed to be a wrestling show. Where's the wrestling?
He got kicked out of his own house. No, I don't know. I am a newcomer to all the lore. I don't involve myself with this stuff online.
Brooke, you lost his
he
holy
was a
shit, dude.
nobody,
You
basically,
okay?
Is what you're saying. He wasn't any big shit.
Well, they gotta
He
put you on
hadn't
a
a
breathing
show
machine or anything?
I would disagree. He had a
Okay.
decent following on his show. He had, This Week in Nectar with him and Leo Pirate. He and Godwinson did tons of shows together. It wasn't like a big thing, but he was big in the circles that, I ran with. He was in the sphere of what we call the sector. The Ethan Ralph hate. Previous to this, he had done a big drama with Dick Masterson calling out New Project 2, and he did a bunch of other stuff with this guy named Chaggett, who was one of Baked Alaska's follower guys.
One thing I want to call out here, because you're dropping names, isn't it funny? It seems like everyone who this guy associates with, he has a big falling out with, and ends up basically trying to dump on at a later date. You just named Ethan Ralph, you named Dick Masterson.
I'd say therapy session would probably be better than this.
Everyone who he does stuff with, there's some drama, and the next thing you know, he just takes it upon himself later on to like turn on this guy or whoever it is. It just seems like a running pattern.
Yes, it is absolutely a running pattern. Well, the key one is his friend Surfer, who is not obviously friends with him before, but he was living in Surfer's house without paying rent, right? That's where he lived, was in Surfer's couch without paying rent, and Surfer was his best friend for years. They went to the same church together, they worked together. Surfer was like his real life friend, right? And they had a very public falling out where Surfer called the cops on him because PvP was like physically assaulting him, which I don't want to talk or speak for Surfer or PvP involved with that because I wasn't there, but they had a real actual end
A
altercation.
real?
Yeah. That was a real friendship that was destroyed by internet bullshit, primarily because of how Surfer interacted with these e-girls, I think. That's my speculation, and Surfer kind of confirmed it to me when I've spoken to him. The main reason for the blow-up was partially because Surfer was interrupting him on the streams, because frankly, Surfer's a very entertaining person, and they had a great duo dichotomy where they would banter back and forth, where PvP talked more it's kind of like, it's a good comparison. PvP was Michael Cole, and Surfer was like Jerry the King Lawler, where PvP was the play-by-play, the talk normal stuff, and then Surfer would come in with the crazy shit every now.
That makes sense to me, because PvP, when we rebooted Smark Guys, he was the one who started doing the actual, here's the results, and he would read off the match and what happened, and then I would be like the color commentary on top of it. So yeah, I kind of get.
You would literally nod your head and go, yep, yep. That's your entire contributions to the show.
That he could take the helm and run the show and do the actual details of the show while the other guys
12 months of pills, holy shit, dude.
Color. Got it. Okay.
So they had their big blowing up, and that was a couple months later than we do our last 5 Pounds of Gun show, basically. And the whole crux of this is, I don't like Snap.
Holla for the dollar, Nickos.
I'm pissed that
Mr. Potato, Tyson Jerry Juice.
You can see both sides who instigated that thing. But
Kyostan, Jekistan, Section 76, and John Paul.
Right, so she's not around physically with this guy or anything. How is she interjecting herself into these relationships, like with Surfer, and why is there even involvement? You would think.
Why are you talking about an e-girlfriend PPP had 4 years ago? Is this PPP, guys? No, it's Smart Guys. Supposed to be talking about wrestling. Wrestlemania is what? Tomorrow? No, 2 days from now. Saturday night. Saturday night. Wrestlemania. Why are we talking about PPP's ex-e-girlfriend from 4 years ago? It makes no fucking sense.
That if you had a relationship, you would want to keep that separate from everything else you're doing, keep it out of drama and everything. But it seems like that's the opposite, that somehow, because he had this e-girl snacks, that it somehow permeated into everything else. That's kind of what I don't get. Like, how did everyone else get involved in it?
When you spend 6 hours a day on a Discord call with these e-girls, that's when what you're primarily doing when you're not streaming.
So you had 2 weeks to cover because they missed last week.
It's like he would basically hop off the streams and get on with these e-girls, from my understanding. And obviously he lives in Surfer's living room, basically on his couch. He doesn't have a private.
So it's kind of hard to there's no privacy there. Okay, I gotcha. That makes sense.
But,
okay.
And all this being said, it's like, why, at first I was like, I shouldn't dog on this guy for having an e-girl. I disdain it because it's not this specific e-girl was.
Roach Bait sounds like you need to take a quick trip to Renton on DSP's day off.
Discord, so you can just tell is no good. Literally, and I will say this, I talked to some of the people she's with before, and I'll get into that later, but literally, we're talking the Discord server bicycle, if that makes sense. she'd been like, trying to have sex, and literally, guys, you have guys flown out to her from these Discord calls to have sex with her at her home, which is, it's like,
What?
just
Smoke
This
weed
whole thing
every
blows my
day.
mind because, I'm 43 years old. And when I was growing up, the online stuff didn't even exist. It was all in person trying to meet people or whatever. And yes, obviously I've met, people online. My wife I met online.
You've met the only two women in your life online. You met Panda Lee online, and then you met Kat online. You literally only have ever had sex because of online dating. Without online dating, you would still be a virgin.
And but even then, like having a long distance relationship where you just talk on a chat or a server all day, it's just not, to me, that's not like a real relationship. And so once I had basically been dating my wife for several months, I was like, I want her to move in with me. I want to start having a real relationship with this woman. I just don't get the whole thing.
She was living with Subaru Man at the time. Don't forget that. She lived with another man while he was talking to her.
On a server talking for 6 hours straight all day, can't you just find someone who you can be with in person, who's a real in life?
Lee, how's it going?
Like, that's
pretty much
crazy
Art
to me.
Bowl.
I don't know.
This is
I
a
don't
PvP
wanna-
show, not smart guys.
I'm a very fat guy. I'm not skinny, but PvP is a death fact, right? His only option isn't a relationship because he can't physically. Right now, he can't physically leave the house. At the time, he could barely get to the toilet. And when he was with Surfer, so he was basically, immobile. He's basically handicapped through fat, right? He can't leave the house, and any girl was gonna go out with him, she would have to come to him. And I mean, frankly, I don't want to get into the fat chicks. Obviously I'm very fat. I don't feel comfortable with that. But I mean, that's the actual reason, right? That's why you do that.
Okay. I guess that makes sense then.
And
yeah.
But and there's no fucking, frankly, I want to shame the guy for that. The shame comes from the choice in the e-girl, right? Because this e-girl Snacks was, I don't know, I'll start with the least crazy allegation, which I know to be true, and then go to the actual.
PvP can leave the house. It's just exaggerating because they hate him.
I know nothing about what we're about to talk about. This is all first time for me. I have no idea what any of this is. And for the record, because some people in chat are like, what's going on right here? It's this simple, all right? PvP right now is riding high. And the reason he's riding high is because he caught lightning in a bottle, all right? What it sounds to me like is he was someone who was a lol cow on the...
Very good point, Benny. They went to Jamaica and Vegas, and they're planning to go to Florida with PW Army to go to Hulk Hogan's shack and all that. Like, they're going to be hanging out with Hulk Hogan. While DSP is going to be sitting there crying and begging, guys, my mom is dying, give me money. I'm not going to use the money to go see my mom, just give me money because she's dying.
On the internet. And he knows it. He knows how bad of a lol cow he was. He was in lol cow circles, the sector, and he was making content and all that. And at some point, he somehow stumbled upon the perfect formula. I want to do a show with someone else, formerly kind of from this group, and we're going to basically make fun of everyone else, and we're going to act like we're the high horses above everybody else. But in truth, here's the truth about all of this, all right? Anyone
that volume's up all the way. Is it up all the way
actively wraps
here?
himself up in it on a daily basis.
Volume's
Is no better
100%.
than anyone else. And any given day, you're going to
Let me
fly
turn
too
myself
close to the
down,
sun,
then.
something's going to come out, and then you're going to be the new jackass.
So I'll turn
all right?
myself down a little
Personally,
bit.
me, I have tried to never, ever get involved with this kind of shit. When everyone else tries to get Phil on their show for drama and this and that, I say, no, I don't want to do that.
He says no, right until he says yes. Then he goes on. Then he cries and he begs.
Because I want to make meaningful, positive content for people on the
Mark
internet. Okay?
goes.
But this guy, him and his buddy over there on Kino Casino, actively tried to use me for 8+ months as a way to get a rise on their show, to get me involved in their content. And then, when it wasn't convenient anymore because it wasn't working, they decided that they were going to turn on me and start being negative towards me. And that's when I had enough. And I cut the cord. Now, all of a sudden, Phil's the loser. Phil's the lol cow. No, motherfuckers.
I say it's weird that the volume's so low.
You always were. But just because you found a way to get popular, making fun of...
Cena better get 17. Him turning heel has to end with him getting number 17. They've already said that Ric Flair has been personally invited to WrestleMania and all that. So Ric Flair will be there in the audience to watch.
The lol cows doesn't mean that you're not the ultimate lol cows too. So when Gahul contacted me...
Oh, he dropped the King Snake thing already.
No, go ahead.
When he realized it made him look like even more of a jackass.
He flies too close to the sun. I will say this: the lol cow sector, and I've experienced a lot, and especially nowadays with, like, it just always creeps up. You're on that fringe of the internet that's like so close to the outer fringes of what like the normal internet is, right? You're really close to a not so good part of the internet that's very fucking bad. That's like illegal. That's like you are committing actual like scumbag crimes and shit. and it's really easy to cross over. Andy Ortiz crossed over it a number of times. You know, we don't want to, you know, we all sweep it under the rug and pretend.
Stone
like
Mexican guy. That's probably Ethan Ralph.
Heinous shit in the past. And I don't know. I don't want to say PvP has, because I don't know if he has, and I don't think he has. I don't want to give away, but he is, or he was. I'm not sure if he still is. I'm sorry if my connection is bad. I'm not sure if I'm dipping or anything.
It's chopping up a little bit, but it's fine. I've had worse on the show, so it's all good.
Yeah. Let me see if we can close out some stuff quick, just to make this easier on all of us.
Yeah, if you look at his chat, it's I thought it was supposed to be wrestling. I thought it was supposed to be wrestling. I think you guys gonna be talking about John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. Wrestling talk or not? Where's the wrestling talk, guys?
I will say, and the whole point of the story, we're talking about this Eagle Snacks.
Probably went on for about 20 minutes for the slideshow.
Years ago, like after it happened, and he kind of just pushed it away, kind of let it, like, just didn't acknowledge it. Said, who cares? This doesn't matter. I don't have to address what I did wrong. It's fine. Well, sorry, bitch, but revenge is a dish best served cold. You didn't address it then.
People that shit their diapers over this, they had to first know who the fuck Gahul is.
And frankly, Phil,
like, you have to be deep into the arc to know who Gahul is.
When you talk about your fucking wife, when he shat on her, that really fucking upset me. And frankly, there's no excuse. I understand.
Oh, and guys, don't forget to hit that thumbs up or the terrorists win. Never forget.
There just isn't. It's not fucking okay.
I said outright to him, you guys, by giving me a chance, shining me in a positive light, glazing me or whatever, you gave me a big rise in the internet community that I haven't seen in 10 years. I'm doing better. I'm getting more support, more views. You guys can literally say whatever the fuck you want about me. I don't care. You can talk shit about my content, about my appearance, about anything I did. But I told them outright, do not be bringing up personal shit like my wife, my family. There's no reason. They're not in my content. They have nothing to do with anything. For a while, they respected that. But then...
Cat is in your content. You're constantly saying, guys, what should I order? Well, my wife wants this, so that's what we're ordering. Doesn't matter what you guys voted for. My wife wants this, so that's what we're getting. Which means she's part of the content.
Slowly started noticing, oh, we're going to name drop. We're going to say an insult. We're going to do that. What it is they got to push that boundary. They got to feel like they're the big kahunas in charge. They're the top dog in the yard.
Yeah, Kino Casino could have been moved on by now.
It was wrong, they're still
but nope, you can't get over it.
So, there you go.
I don't have the chat open right now, so I know what people are saying, but, you know, it's fine, because this needs to get said. All right, now that I got your attention. So, this Girl Snacks that PvP chose to associate with, right, was a member of a group called the Order of Nine Angles, which is a Nazi Satanist group on Discord that would, which is, you know, I mean, it's Discord Nazi is not that crazy, but Nazi Satanist group on Discord.
That's the perfect combo, right? I mean, you got to have a little both to have the perfect.
You gotta have it both ways. So the Order of Nine Angles is a Nazi Satanist group, which has essentially did a lot of fucked up shit. You know, they would show you, like, you know, gore and stuff on their page and stuff like that. Really just gross group of people. And this Snacks girl, not only was a member of the Order of Nine Angles, she was like like I said, the Discord bicycle of the Order of the Nine Angles and these, like, associated, like, far right Discord groups. So there's this one guy, Dingo, who I've actually spoken to in person since this whole thing went down. This Dingo guy, you know, he was with her, and they, like, she, you know, had, like, a fling with him. He came out and had sex with her, which is kind of fucking weird. Like, he had to go out to her because she was too, you know, fucked up mentally to fly for whatever fucking reason. You know, whatever. But there's this guy in there called Torba. Now, Torba, when he knew Snacks, was like, I think he was, I don't want to make shit up, so I'm just going to say he was under the age of 18. I don't remember exactly how old he was.
Oh, great. So now we got a nice dose of pedophilia in here, too. It's like, you know, just keep going, keep stacking it on.
What the fuck does this have to do with wrestling?
She would, like, you know, she was, like, professing her love for Torba. Like, I must have you, Torba, to this fucking, like, 16 or 15-year-old. And he's fucking admitted that she did this, by the way. There's, like, fucking, he's, like, on record saying that she definitely did this. I don't think he cares that she did it, but, you know. So, this is a Nazi Satanist pedophile who, by the way, Order of Nine Angles and Snacks
the fuck?
Also heavily involved with Core Swats. I'm not sure if you guys know. Probably that name rings a bell with some people in the audience. So, Core Swats is the group that swatted Mr. Medicare. I think they even swatted PvP and Surfer.
So now we're committing that's a crime too. On top of that, swatting is a crime, and you know.
I don't know if I don't want to slander say Snacks was committed swatting, but she was in, like, the same group of people. She
the same groups
who
were at least involved in doing it. Gotcha. How at this point? So we're talking. This is 2021. How old is this person?
Snacks or PvP?
Snacks.
Or Snacks. Shit. I think she was in her mid-20s. I don't have that right now. She's in her mid-20s. So,
this is just so crazy. You know, everyone gives me shit. Listen, when I was in my 20s, I was a troll. I said this to everyone publicly. I was an asshole. Okay, I was involved in the competitive Street Fighter community. I was known as the biggest shit talker. I would literally say, I'm going to come fuck you up at the tournament. I'm going to kick your ass. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I look back on it now, and I regret it because I'm in my 40s, and I'm like, man, instead of that, I could have been someone more positive, someone trying to do constructive things for the Street Fighter community. You know, instead I look back like, wow, what an immature asshole I was, right? Now I guess the new thing is when you're in your 20s, you got to be involved with as many fringe
It is 10:36. He has still not talked anything about wrestling.
Insanely socially reprehensible criminal circles as you can online. Spend all your time online in chats doing fucked up stuff. Like, to me, it's just like crazy. It's like a culture shock to hear this because I'm so far removed from that. I'm not so far removed. Like, my parents are so far removed from it. They don't even know what shit on the internet is. Okay. They don't even get the internet. They're a different generation. I'm the generation that grew up with it, but I was never involved in any of this crazy shit. Now I hear like the whole new generation. This is how everyone grew up. Everyone's online.
Or
doing
cry
this
that he's an
online
alcoholic,
shit,
so don't beat
crazy
him up.
fringe shit. Like, oh my God. Like, it's a weird, like second society online of people doing this stuff. E-girlfriend just blows my mind. Like, she was an e-girlfriend to multiple people. Like,
the Nazi
what?
Satanist pedophile e-girl that you cheat on your other girlfriend to keep dating. For all I know, actually, they're still dating. By the way, I don't know if they've broken up. I never heard that they broke up. And I've talked to a lot of people who are in PvP's inner circle, like Perspic. And by the way, shout out to Perspic. I'm sure he's fucking thrilled that I'm talking about him on your stream. He's probably gonna come in his pants hearing that. No offense. But Perspic or fucking Brian Dunn, they never told me that they broke up. As far as I know, maybe they did. But I mean, frankly, like this shit, when I heard it, I was like, what the fuck, man? You gotta stop this shit. Like, this is not okay. But also shout out to SMG, so Mexican guy, also not one of the PP initials, one of the OGs, But back in the day, you would think, man, once you knew about this shit, you would fucking you should do some background checks, right, or anything. But this woman literally sent him boxes and boxes of candy. I had the theory that she was like a death fetishist, that she would send him boxes and boxes of candy and cookies and shit to get him fatter and fatter.
Right, maybe.
Terrible artist, by the way. She drew him and Pokemon Cyndaquil naked together for some reason. For who fucking
Why is this being talked about on a show that's supposed to be about wrestling?
Why the
Oh, please bring out the Wolverine figure. That'd be hilarious.
The peak of his preacher dump, because his family's a preacher family, right? He's this moral high ground guy.
I've heard this before. Yeah, I heard a little bit about this, that apparently he actually grew up in a preacher family and everything, which is crazy to me to see where you ended up, right?
He was going after guys like you called Dax, Dick Master and Diddler Dax and stuff. Like, he would go after these guys really hard and be really, really I'm the morally upstanding one. I'm the morally upstanding guy who can talk to God. I will call the wrath of God down upon ye, right? When in the fucking background, he's dating a Satanist who groomed a fucking underage boy.
What the fuck?
It's fucking pure hypocrisy. And it just grossed me the fuck out, and it pissed me the fuck off. So I had to make a video. I made a very long video about it. Everyone at the time was really pissed at him. They want him to address it, and he just never did. And this was about a couple months before Kino Casino started, right?
Okay.
So he basically just non-addressed it, didn't talk about it, and then just let one of his capo circle of e-boys, because he just surrounds himself, by the way, with a bunch of gay guys online, which no strikes against gay guys, but he exclusively.
I'm against gay guys, but anything said before the butt is pointless.
Huh.
And it's just weird. The PvP capos guys. I don't want to go into that too much more, but so they basically ran defense control for him.
Where's the wrestling?
When it's all said and done, he moves on. Doesn't get addressed, doesn't have to fucking reconcile, doesn't have to apologize, and can just move on. Of course, later on, with Warsk, he tried to defraud his audience by using scam Russian payment sites. I'm not sure if you've heard about this.
No, again, I hear nothing. But when I started,
I thought you weren't about the drama anymore, DSP.
All right, the first week, I had people coming out of the woodwork who I don't know, people who actually hated me, said, "No, you're doing the wrong thing. You don't understand. Those guys are into some fucked up shit. They've got bad history, bad track record. That's the last people you want to associate with." But I'm the kind of guy
supposed to be smart guys talking about wrestling.
Care about what you did in your past.
And yet there's not a single bit of wrestling in it.
Now, I mean, I look at my past and the fucked up stuff that I did, and I'm like, well, I know I'm not that person anymore. So if I changed, I assume that other people can change too. But then it seems like with a lot of these people, history tends to repeat itself. You know what I mean? So
no, he's done it with everyone. He's did it with, PP's done it with Godwinson, he did with fucking Perspic and Squire and Brian Dunn. Even his closest capos, his closest inner circle, he's turned on betrayed. He hasn't betrayed Warski yet, but when he goes on the show with Warski, it's acting like this. Oh, it's a big deal, big time Andy Warski. Andy Warski before PvP was streaming was one of the lowest viewed, no one gives a shit streamers. Andy Warski coasted off of PvP success to make it big, basically. Right. And he provided him with the equipment and the money.
So Andy Warski was able to make money.
He was streaming with a guy like Kyler, doing Twisted Minds to nobody. No one gives a shit about him. And frankly,
This is a day where
in
they just bitch
a
about
year
their
or
exes,
two,
huh?
when PPP and Warski have their big blow up,
On
which
Easter,
will
I'll be going out to see
inevitably happen,
family.
as we all know, it's a
Got the
circle
day
of
off,
life.
so I get to spend it all
What's
with
gonna
family.
happen?
Yay!
PPP is going to get dumped by
Unlike
Warski.
DSP.
Warski's going to move on to a new show or new co-host, and PPP will just become another of the long line.
This is just crazy. Like, oh yeah, Andy Worski was nobody until PPP got involved with him. Great. If Andy Worski's like, I can't carry a show myself, but if I work with PPP, I'll be able to make a show work. And it did work. Fucking great. Guys, I can't believe it. They worked together and they made a bunch of money. How dare they work together and make a bunch of money? The fuck? Definitely watching the day at this point. And I still love that DSP is working on Easter. Friday? No. Saturday? Nope, he's off. But Easter Sunday, he'll be streaming. And I'll be doing on Easter Sunday, spending it with family. And I bet a lot of you are as well.
Of previous Andy Warski co-hosts up there with JF and Anal Vape, right? That's the people. That's who he is. It's a nobody. And frankly, I thought PPP was better than that. I thought he had a chance to make something better of himself, or at least get offline and do something real with his fucking life, which he just hasn't done. And he is, because I consider Kino Casino to be his death sentence. He has success, moderate success online. I mean, if you compare him to actual live streamers, like real ones, it's fucking nothing. They get a couple thousand views. They get some money, whether it's botted or not. They have histories of botting in the past. And
see, I don't know that either. People tell me this after the fact. I hear all this shit so far after the fact. But yeah, I heard all kinds of stuff about that they've got botters, they've got people who go in there and throw them stuff, but they know it's going to happen, like it's pre-planned shit and everything. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows? So people say that about me too. To be fair, people say that shit about me all the time too, and it's
Maybe
never
Phil
been true.
resurrects his positivity
So
on Sunday, but
it's possible, but you can't really take someone to task.
But
for
legit, they have done botting. They just have, and I mean, when they first got kicked out of YouTube, they started using like really sketchy payment sites, like ones that like Russian shit, where like they would steal your credit card number and stuff afterwards.
Jesus.
And they said, please use this power chat, whatever the fucking was called, to give us money, because they can't deal with being banned from they can't lose their money income for even a week. But the reality is, this is his fucking death sentence. He's achieved mild success, not enough to actually like lift him up to like be like set for life, but enough to keep him like comfortable and fat for like a couple years. And when it all comes down to it, the Uber Eats ordering, the fucking nonstop,
the door dashing, you mean?
No need to have activity, shoving his face full.
Yeah, the chat is so fucking bored with this already. I love it.
Within a decade, like the health problems he's gonna have, he's gonna be fucking dead. And it's because Andy Worski's making him do Kino Casino. If he wasn't doing that, if he's actually starving out in the cold, he'd be forced to go get a fucking real job. Which some people say that about you, but to be fair, you actually spend 8 hours a day streaming, usually multiple days a week. He doesn't. So, frankly,
this is what I've said to people, because they say things like, "Well,
yes, now Keith,
we're upset because Kino Casino's not streaming today," and I say, "Well, the reason the Kino Casino doesn't have to work hard is because when they turn on the stream, a bunch of morons throw them literally thousands of dollars the moment they turn the stream on. So now they're like, oh, now we don't have to work this week. You know what I mean? Like,
and yet, what do? Guys, give me $150 because I turned the camera on. Guys, I've turned the camera on. Where's my $150?
If people were smart, you would be like, I want more of them. Let's make them earn the paycheck before we open our wallets and dump everything on their heads. I work 8 hours. I work 5 days minimum, 6 days, some weeks, 8+ hours of streaming a day, because I'm a normal guy who I realize that my viewers are not filthy rich.
You're not a guy, you're a
and
pig
I need
roach.
to earn their money by making a lot of content that they like. These guys literally just dump on people on their streams. How hard is that? Not very hard, I can tell you, because I've done it before. It's really fucking easy. And people just open their wallets. So if you want more Kino Casino, don't shower them with money, because then they don't have to work anymore. And then they go on vacations and they take a million days off. But people,
yes, they go on vacation, unlike you.
People like this online, they're not.
They've taken more vacations in the past 3 years than you have in your life.
That's really what it is. It's a LARP. They're role playing something you want so that you will shower them with money, and then they run to the bank. I can outright tell you guys this. Right after one episode of Smart Guys, okay, I was right here talking to PPP after the show. And you want to know what he said to me? He said, Phil, our viewers and our fans are just wallets. They're not people. They don't act like they have feelings. They're not your friends. The only thing that they're there for is to pay you. You milk them in any way you can, and the moment you can, you throw them away.
Gee, DSP, tell me how you really feel about your fans.
And you replace them with others. That's it. That's how he sees his audience. And so,
to the point that he's okay with them putting their card information on a site where they will literally fucking get, they'll have their credit card payment, they'll have their cards defrauded and scammed. So he's
why would he ever care about that? As long as he received the payment, he doesn't give a shit about that. He thinks that there's an endless door of people that will just keep coming in. As long as he keeps making the drama slop content, the people will keep coming in and paying him to do it, and that's all he cares about. And he said that word for word to me on a stream. So,
well, it just, the guy, frankly,
yeah, it was bait. He's just fucking with you, DSP, but you don't understand that because you're an idiot.
Surrounds himself with people who don't have his best interest at heart, who want to fucking basically make him dead. Removes even his closest friends, even he took even fucking.
And still no wrestling content.
Like a god. He worshipped Godwinson like a god when I knew him, right? And even he betrayed because, frankly, he wants to get fat and die young, and that's probably gonna happen. The more money people give,
die young, leave a pretty corpse.
He gets to death because that's all it's gonna do is funnel his fucking food addiction and his inability to live up. Probably his alcohol fun too because he gets drunk on shit all the time, and he's just gonna fucking be dead in a couple years.
He gets drunk all the time, just like DSP.
I used to know this guy, and I'm not trying to be like a concern troll here, which is a very obvious thing you could say I'm doing right now. But genuinely, this guy will be fucking dead soon, and the more money you continue to give them, the more likely it is he will be dead. So if you want to see the guy die, it's similar cases to like King Cobra JFS, where like if you give that guy money, he's just gonna spend it on booze and it's gonna get closer to killing him. It's the exact same thing with PPP.
I hate to say it, really.
Exactly the same thing with DSP. If you give him money, he's going to get more gin.
Online. I really believe that. Like, people actually
take a sip, sleazy asshole.
Cows because they want to see them do the action that's most harmful to them. And then...
Yes, we want to see you refinance your house to really fuck yourself over.
To me, I think that's twisted, sick shit. Like, if you're going to watch someone online, watch because you legit like them. Contribute because you actually want to see them success and make themselves better. If you're actually paying someone and they're getting worse, then isn't that the opposite? But I think there are people that is a sick fetish where I will like you.
We want to see you lose everything, DSP. The more money you make, the funnier it is when you lose it all.
Throw them the candy, throw them the stuff, so they'll keep going. You want to see them get pushed over the edge. That's just
it's Gable, as you can see on the screen.
That's like the
Gable hosts WrestleMania 41 match by match preview.
That's why I don't want to be a part.
But they're not actually talked about wrestling yet, Lord DS Parody.
Now, you kind of see with all the shit that these people are involved in, why I don't want to get involved in these circles. These guys were trying to push me into this shit. You know what I'm saying?
And to be fair, obviously I'm on here talking about all this shit, so it is causing more drama. And obviously there's something to reflect about that. But frankly, I don't care.
Yes, pop meat
I
kettle.
want to talk shit about this guy because he pissed me off and he made fun of me and my family. And if you want more details, I've got plenty of documented videos that can go into further evidence about this shit. And I will say all the claims I'm making, they're not fucking coming out of my ass hat. I had actual people who were in these servers tell me about this and confirm it all to me. Also, fun fact, before we move on, because we should probably get to the wrestling now because we're about, we're pretty far deep into this.
Almost an hour into the show with no wrestling.
While they may be entertained or whatever by this, probably we will talk about wrestling because I love pro wrestling.
Yes.
That
is for the record, because some people are shocked right now in chat and they're like, what is going on? Listen, this is like a 1-2 punch combo because Gahul actually is very much into pro wrestling and we're very excited to talk about Wrestlemania in a second, which we are going to do.
I went to last year's WrestleMania 40, which was fucking awesome. Great show. I love that show. It was so good. It was so...
Yeah, he's absolutely fucking desperate.
And that was my favorite live WrestleMania I've been to. It was so amazing. One of the best shows I've been to live. But I will say, before we close out, fun little story. So, Torba, the underage boy, right? We'll call him the young boy Torba, the young innocent child Torba. So, Torba was a huge PPP fan. He loved PPP. He was one of his biggest fans. And he would just talk nonstop about PPP to Snacks. And because that got so annoying to Snacks that she decided to leave Torba to go to date PPP instead. So it wasn't even like she did it in her past or whatever. It was like, I'm going to stop being a pedophile and immediately go to Ashton Parks.
What the fuck?
It's like...
What does this have to do with the wrestling?
Well, it was way in the past. Maybe he didn't know. And maybe she didn't tell him. But like, you know, he was in the circles. He could have easily found out about this, about anything about this girl. He had done any fucking background checks about this bitch to find out that before she dated you, she was dating a child, an underage boy who she groomed on Discord. So,
but again, these are the people who are sitting on a show every week, and they're the ones who are going to talk shit like they're above everyone else. You know what I mean? Like they don't have.
Well, they're above
anything
you,
to
but that's
ever,
not saying much.
What the fuck? And why would anyone want to?
Takes
watch
a lot
that
to not be
kind of
above
crap,
DSP.
knowing who these people are, their past, because I knew nothing about them whatsoever when I got involved with them. And then more and more as
Well, that's
I
a good Lord
did
DSP
more
parody.
projects, more
Hopefully it
collabs
helps.
with them, I have more people coming out. You got to cut it off. You got to stop. You understand this is going to be toxic. This is going to hurt you and your family long term. You're going to get wrapped up in shit you don't want to get wrapped up in. And I kept saying, don't worry. I got control of this. If they ever push me into something I don't want to do, they're going to know that. I'm not going to do it. And look what happened. The moment that they tried to basically snake me and get me involved with shit I didn't want to do, I said, no, I'm done. And then immediately it's like scorched earth against DSP. He's the worst guy on the planet. Let's have.
You're the one who keeps bringing it up. If you stop bringing it up, they would forget that you exist.
You know, I mean, he even said
But
to
you
me,
won't let it go.
Feel like our association isn't working out.
Let it go. Let it go.
And then I did. And then he turns into like
he's still so fucking butthurt over
like,
this.
You know, like I left him at the altar or something. Or it's like, what?
You can tell he's pissed. You can tell he really wanted to be friends with you. You can tell he really wanted you to come to like hang out with him to go do the Hogan show, because I think he just wants to do that with someone, but he feels too embarrassed to just go by himself because he doesn't think, or he feels like maybe he physically can't do it by himself, or he wants to go with you. And frankly, I hope he does find someone to go hang out with Hogan.
PW Army.
Awesome. He should go do that and stop fucking wasting his time talking shit about drama. Go make some real fucking friends. Or make some fucking friends online.
PW Army and PPP going to go see Hulk Hogan.
It crossed the line when you start talking shit about your wife.
Exactly.
Listen,
I had every intention.
Rightfully upset about.
I had every intention of being civil and friendly with those guys for as long as it made sense. You know what I mean? Like I had no intention of turning against them or snaking them, but it just seems like it was inevitable. Like,
you said during that 666 stream that it was your intention the entire time to snake them.
In a positive manner wasn't going to make that money anymore. You knew eventually it was going to flip into let's get to the negative and just destroy the guy instead. And that's what everyone was telling me. And I said to everyone, don't worry, I have control of it, which I did. I pulled the plug when I needed to, but that's when they went crazy. So that's how it kind of ended. But to me, see, here's the thing that I think about, because we're talking about the Hogan thing, right? I think I agree with you. Like, I think that PPP actually does want to have real friends. But for some reason...
He does have real friends, unlike you.
That just doesn't let him. And I
don't Gahool, Kevin. Gahool.
It could be depression, too, because I'll tell you
He's
this,
a PPP
from personal experience back when I was younger...
He and PPP used to talk about wrestling together.
Okay? And I had friends...
Now they get to sit here and bitch about PPP.
I destroyed friendships in my life for no reason. It wasn't like, I don't like this guy or... I literally would just say, time to fuck this friendship up. And then I would act like an asshole or not ghost someone completely. And then my depression would make me feel worse. Like it was like an endless cycle. You feel depressed, so you do fucked up things that ruin your life, and then you feel more depressed, and it just feeds itself. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I'm not a psychologist, all right?
Well,
but it was wild the way that he was acting like he wanted to be my friend. I was trying to tell him, nah, dude, there's kind of boundaries. I'm not going that far because I got a life. I got a wife. I'm never going to really be to that extent. And then when he goes too far and actually insults my wife, then he loses it. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe he was angry because I said I wouldn't go hang out with him in Florida, and she was so that's why he's so angry at her.
Plan right now is for PPP and PW Army to go to Hulk Hogan's Shack, or whatever it's called.
I mean, frankly, I don't think, because he's done this with every fucking. I mean, obviously he did it with me, but like, you know, we were only like loosely friends, so I can't like bitch about it too much. But when you look at, I've been like, all the people he's been friends with, I kind of know, right? Besides Wooooorst, obviously, I don't know shit about Wooooorst. The only thing I know about Wooooorst is I knew his old co-host Anal Vape, which frankly was his best co-host. Shout outs to Anal Vape. He was a great Wooooorst co-host, frankly. Which obviously fuck Anal Vape. He's a piece of shit.
By the way, hold on. Super Bonchan, I accidentally banned you. That was a mistake. I don't know if he's there. I misclicked on the chat because he's a regular on Kick, and I wanted to let him know I didn't. that was a complete mistake. I apologize. I did unban.
How did you accidentally ban someone?
We are so sorry.
Complete mistake. I went zoop. Got the wrong person. Okay.
But no, every friend group he's been a part of, he's burned.
Where's the wrestling?
Destroyed. Leo Pirate. Perspec, Godwinson.
Where's the
Lee,
wrestling?
Surfer. Even his real life friends. He's burned
That
everything.
old,
And maybe
what
he
was
has
it?
new
Where's the
friends
beef
now, and
commercial with
great.
the
I
old
hope he
ladies?
sticks with it and
Where's
does
the
something
beef?
with it.
Where's the
But
wrestling?
It's impossible for him. He's got a destructive personality. He just like this. And you know what? And you could say we're talking shit about him and how, oh, we're so pathetic for talking shit about the guy. Frankly, you talk shit about Phil's wife, I think that gives Phil carte blanche to say whatever the fuck he wants back to you. He can be as mad, he can be as angry as he wants, and rightfully fucking so, because you don't insult a man's fucking wife. It's not okay. It's not fucking okay. It's just simply not good, especially if you're even somewhat friendly with the guy. Especially someone who doesn't consider the wife who isn't online, doesn't post about her shit. I understand people talk shit about, like, you know, Ralph's wives in the past, right? And I've even done that myself in the past, but they've put themselves in line in the content. If Kat was on stream with you every day,
Right.
and he was talking shit about her that way, that'd be a very different thing than talking shit about someone that doesn't even show up on camera. It's not
right.
fucking okay.
That's right.
And
She has, and
I
she
think
is
you're
involved.
perfectly within your rights to
She
take
is
a
involved in
full
the
fucking
content.
hour out of this show and just dump on the guy. And I will be happy to do it for you again if you want, but that's basically all I got. I don't have any more dirt. That's what I got.
Here's the truth.
pedophile.
The truth is, this actually
Truth is,
would've
give me
been
money, assholes.
more pertinent if it had
Yeah,
been
we know
like a month
DSP, we
ago,
know.
right after the whole thing happened with Kino Casino. It took a while to get around getting certain guests on and everything and scheduling. It was supposed to be last
Well, you have to
week,
Ralph
and
on first.
that didn't work. What are you gonna do, right? The truth is, because people are like, well, does this mean, Phil, that now you're getting into internet drama and this is no. What we just did here.
Still
I'm
think
done.
you should have
know
had
what I mean?
Derek
Like,
on.
I'm already. If
Derek
anything,
on would have
what
been
you
a better
can easily
guest.
see is that I don't need those guys. In the month now that I said I'm done with them, I have been consistently successful, reaching my goals. I'm freaking
Helping the
raising
trolls with the help of OIC
funding
every
goals,
stream.
playing old school Japanese RPGs.
His fans aren't
You know what I
defending
mean?
it.
I
His
don't even
fans
need
are
to have
hating
a lot
it.
of people on a stream. I'm still successful.
His fans are
Things
so
good right now. for
pissed
me.
off about
I
this.
just
They
got
don't
made
care.
Kick partner yesterday, and now I'm getting paid to stream on Kick. So I don't care about those guys. I don't need to sit and talk about them constantly at all. You know they're going to talk about this. They're going to watch this hour on their show, and they're going to analyze it, and they're going to say, yeah, well, DSP is this, and Gahul is this, and they don't know. Who cares? I'm not going to respond. I have nothing to do with them anymore. I'm done. I'm above it. I keep telling everyone, I'm above their drama bullshit.
No, you're not.
That's why when I was on their show, and they're like,
You're not
"Hey, so
above
about Ethan
anyone."
Ralph or whatever, I'd be bored. I'd be bored to fucking tears. Like, this is stupid. This isn't interesting to anyone with 4 brain cells in their fucking head. It's only people who are so lifeless, so negative, nothing to talk about. Those are the people who want to focus on that shit on the internet. I got my own life, my own positive shit I have to work on. I don't have time to shit on others.
So
constantly.
positive you were sobbing
too
on your
busy.
birthday stream.
Yeah, I will say this, Phil. So I do a lot of drama content, but it's not my exclusive stuff. I talk about video games and stuff too, and I run a movie discussion board. But I will say this: sometimes the drama drags you into it. Even if you don't want to talk about drama, sometimes people talk shit about you, and you can't just sit there and let them punch you in the face. You have to punch back, right? So maybe you don't want to keep swinging. Maybe you don't wanna
Sometimes
keep
maybe,
fighting,
but
you don't
other
wanna go
times you can
boxing,
just ignore him.
right? But sometimes when someone punches you in the face, you have to
Super
punch
crazy would have been a
back
better
and
guest.
okay,
Yes.
just fucking, which is what we're doing here.
Can't believe he
The funk
fucked
on
up
the
his
way.
entire
Make him
online
sting a
presence
little.
for what?
And you know
A
what?
little bit of
People
money?
probably calls me some nasty shit. I guarantee you, he's
He got a
some
tiny
crazy
little
shit
bit of
about
money.
me, or makes up some fucking bullshit. And I'll say
And gave
this,
up his entire
there's
online
nothing that he can
presence.
say about me that he himself
What a
isn't
dumbass.
10 times over. That's a fact.
And I'll end it.
All right,
to say
DSP, it's
this,
been
and this
over
will
an
be
hour.
my
Where's the
final
wrestling
say
content?
on the subject? All right, PvP can sit there on his pile of money that he gets from mentally deficient people who open their
Eddie Murphy's
wallets to him
father.
every single night. All right, good for him.
You're gonna talk like that
But
when
at the
your
end of the
best
day,
fan is
he's gonna be the
Jade?
sad guy sitting trying to talk to someone at 4 or 5 in the morning to get them to fly out to see Hulk Hogan with him at his bar, because he's never going to have real friends, and he's never going to have a real relationship, and he's never going to have a real life for himself, and he's never going to be happy if he continues down the path that he's going down. It's that simple.
He'll be
It
happier
doesn't
than you.
matter how rich you are or how popular you are, how many views you have on a stream. That's not a measure of success in life. Maybe it's a measure of success in the drama sphere. But you are a fucking lonely loser, and you're always going to be unless you change yourself.
Don't forget though, DSP was up every time. Every time Kino Casino would message him at 4 o'clock in the morning his time, he was up. Here's the other thing. You know why Kino Casino was up that early? Because that's when they stream. Like literally, they'll stream at start streaming at midnight. So, all right, guys, it's midnight. Time to start the stream. All right, guys, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. Time for us to end the stream. So yeah, they were up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning because that's when they were streaming. That's when they were fucking streaming, jackass. You were just up getting drunk and playing WWE Champions every single time.
You have an opportunity, but you got to make that change. I was willing to be friends with the guy, you know, to a certain extent. And when I basically created boundaries and said, dude, let's enough of that, he lost his mind. Well, sorry, dude.
He was fucking with you the entire time.
From whatever's mentally deficient up here.
How do you not understand that?
I've got a life. I've got a wife. I got shit to do. And it doesn't involve.
Oh, that's awesome, Sonny.
Good luck with your future endeavors. You got released from Smark, guys.
And he makes way more fucking money now.
And when Andy Worski releases you like he released Anal Vape in the past, it's gonna be the same thing. You're gonna get dumped too. It's inevitable. You can't help. It's gonna happen. So, and frankly, I will be there laughing when it does.
Well, that's it. Let's move on, right? Let's be positive now. Enough of this nonsense. Enough of this bullshit.
He just wanted someone to come on and shit on PvP with him.
Show to actually talk about pro wrestling, which is what we're all here for. So thanks to everyone who got through that first segment. And we got a few shout outs to do, not a lot, because I knew there would
not a lot, hint, hint.
Half the people
not a
here
lot.
have no idea what the hell just happened, but it's all good because now we can actually do a wrestling show, which is the purpose of the show. Yeah. We got a couple gifted subs. There was a No Kino entry and the SJB97. We each gifted a sub over on Kick, and I appreciate that. It was actually No Kino entry did the first one, so I'm going to get him up there on the leaderboard. And we got a $5 tip here. Actually, this tip had come in early. I'm going to guess this is Slayer because Slayer usually drops a tip right at the beginning of the show, and I'm absolutely correct. So Slayer says, can't wait for today's final mystery guest.
Yeah, it's time for the views to drop now that the drama's over.
And NXT Stand and Deliver this weekend. My friend is actually in Las Vegas currently for Wrestlemania. He's already met guys like Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre, and Mark.
Oh, that is so fucking cool.
You know, Wrestlemania weekend is so jam-packed full of stuff to do. And I know because I was in the New York, New Jersey area for Wrestlemania. Geez, what was it? I don't even know. It was like 19 or whatever. And, you know, attending Wrestlemania, there was so many shows. I went to see Ring of Honor, which was amazing. And
I say he probably DoorDash more than DSP does.
Developmental stuff. I think it was like NXT at that time. It was like off TV, but we were able to watch like guys like Eric Rowan have a developmental match and stuff like that. There is so much content. You could go get autographs. There's a million things to do. So I'm glad to hear your friends made it, and I hope they have a good time there at WrestleMania. So now, guys, we're going to get into wrestling content. The way it works is very simple. If you contribute, I'm going to give you a shout-out. Please be a little patient because when you contribute to the show, I'm going to shout it out when we have like a break between we're talking about matches or whatever. The format tonight's a little different. Instead of going play-by-play through all of these shows that have gone down over the last 2 weeks, which I haven't commented on, we're going to go through each night of WrestleMania 41 and basically say, okay, here's a match. Here's what led up to it. Here's our thoughts on that match. What do we think will happen? Will it be a good one? You know, is it any substance there? And in a lot of cases, some of these matches have been, you know, built up for so long. And in other cases, matches just got slapped together at the last minute. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of that comparison and that contrasting. Tonight, if we hit $100 to support on the stream, I will open one of the Topps Chrome packs of cards here. And I have 7 left. And these are the last 7 I will ever have because the price of these has gone so exponentially up. It's ridiculous. This pack costs $70 to buy. So I'm not going to continuously drop $70 for a few collectible cards. But
here's the thing. You drop $70 and then you open up each individual pack for $100. Oh no, guys, I only made $530, guys. I only made $530. $530 is not enough for him. Holy shit, DSP.
I've got the setup ready to go.
PWR has 380 viewers. Nice. Good for him.
And do that live on stream. And whoops, and then I'll hit the wrong button. And we'll do the podcast intro.
Wow, DSP.
But so that's ready to go. At a moment's notice here. And that's it. So I think it's time to start talking wrestling. What do you guys think? I hope so. Let's get some support tonight, please, guys. The goal is 150 as always. It would be great if we could hit that by the end of the night. All right. So first off, before we start talking about WrestleMania, Gahul, I'd like to ask you up front, what have you thought, in general, what are your thoughts about WWE in 2025, particularly since they relaunched Raw in the new Netflix era, Triple H fully in charge of everything? Do you think it's been good? In general, just what's your vibe of the last, say, 3 months of WWE?
So, I would say, I mean,
Triple H being in charge is the best thing that happened to WWE in years. When WWE let him take care of NXT, people said that NXT was actually better than WWE, which pissed off Vince McMahon, so he took it away from Triple H. So now that Triple H is in charge, oh, it's so much fucking better.
I thought WWE was on a really good streak, actually up almost until the Netflix takeover. I think there's been some rocky steps here and there. It's definitely not been perfect. I think this WrestleMania build has been, I wouldn't say bad. I'll say it's been a bad WrestleMania build. I think a lot of the matches on paper could be good. And historically, one thing you could say, because I've been to a couple WrestleManias, and two actually, I've been to three. I've been to New Orleans, New York, and so that was 34, 35, and then 40 recently. And usually when a WrestleMania build is bad, the actual show is good. Usually if the WrestleMania build is really good, then the show actually usually underdelivers. It's disappointing, historically at least. But that was back in the Vince era.
Vince McMahon returns on Saturday, never.
Was amazing, and the show was amazing.
Right.
This year, I would say the build across the board, with the exception of a couple matches, and even then, I've got some issues with some of the build, like the big matches. The build has been, I would say, rushed and kind of lackluster, partially because of the whole trip to Europe post Elimination Chamber and the whole, people not being on certain shows, like Roman Reigns barely being there.
What? Roman Reigns not showing up? Gee, where does that sound familiar? His entire title run.
Objectively, it's been a bad WrestleMania build, but I'm still excited for the show. I think the show's going to be really good. If you look at the actual matches on paper, there's a lot of good in-ring quality matches that'll happen this weekend, and obviously,
good point. Why isn't DSP razzing him about his shitty
they're
setup?
In Las Vegas, they're in this brand new Allegiant Stadium. They're gonna have a lot of celebrities. They're gonna have hip hop.
Who is Gahul? He's a former PPP host, co-host, whatever you want to call it, of a wrestling show. So they don't like PPP. That's the only reason why this guy's on. If this guy wasn't having an edge to grind, an axe to grind with PPP, he wouldn't be on. But because he also hates PPP, just like DSP does, he gets on. That's the only reason he's here.
Artists.
How exciting. I can't wait. Everyone knows my opinion on the current soundtracks of both Raw and SmackDown, so I'm sure, can't wait to see who they've got there. Hopefully some live Travis performances. Scott. I hope there's some live performance. I love those when they have those guys.
Well, I mean, you're gonna have living color do Cult of Personality live at WrestleMania, which obviously you're gonna have to. That's gonna be awesome.
That's awesome. Second time. Yeah, that'll be cool.
And it's gonna be a good presentation. It's gonna be a fun show. What's gonna happen after will be interesting, and how they keep going after will be interesting. I think that their press run this week, I'm not sure. I mean, obviously everyone.
I see his undershirt not being an undershirt is weird.
The press they've done this week's been
like, it's supposed to be an undershirt, DSP, not an overshirt. What the fuck are you doing?
AEW they are about WrestleMania, which is weird. It's like they're talking more shit about Tony Khan than they are. It's John Cena versus Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, all three guess has been anti-PPP.
Key match for both nights. It's the number one match I think you can put on right now, and that's the key focus of the whole shows. But
it's weird. It's weird because what you're saying is dead on. For example, what's happened here with the Cody Rhodes and Cena angle is that it came together very quickly after Elimination Chamber. They rushed 1 month to get it hype, and then they knew John Cena wasn't going to be on the show for 2 weeks. So now it's just fizzled out because there's no real hype behind. People want to see the match, but who's
an anti-PPP guy? That's the only reason he's here.
You got to get that build up right to the last minute, and instead there's a 2-week gap. So now what's happened is everyone's turned their attention to other things. And you're right. I'm not even kidding you. Until you just said this is John Cena's last WrestleMania match, I forgot that's his last WrestleMania match. No one's been talking like that,
And he's a heel, and he's going for the world title. He's probably going to win the world title. Just predict that now. I think he's going to win. I mean, how do you not have him win right now? like it should be a really big deal, but they're not. And I will say, do you want to just talk about that match now because it's the main? And we can talk about the details. I wouldn't mind. Or do you want to talk about that last? It's
I
up to
mean,
you.
that is at least when you look at how they've listed the cards. Supposedly, they've listed that to be the actual.
Yes, you're
main
too busy
event
doing
of
research,
the
dude.
final piece of WrestleMania. I would be shocked if it's not. You know what I mean? Like if they somehow do some weird ordering and it's not the main event of WrestleMania on night 2, I would be like, what the hell were they thinking?
What else would it be? Like a Travis Scott concert? Like what else are they gonna put on last? Like, it's gotta be the John Cena Cody Rhodes match. That has to be the last thing.
Oh, if you want, we can go for. You want to? We'll talk about it first. Then get out of the way.
It's cat without her wig. Oof.
Sure, why not? So,
Yeah.
When it comes to this match, okay, I think the build-up was interesting because until Elimination Chamber, we had no clue what John Cena was going to be doing at WrestleMania. We knew he was going to be doing something, and since it's his last WrestleMania match, it has to be kind of momentous. But everyone was kind of, what's the path for Cena? You have people with their big conspiracy boards writing, what's the path for Cena? Where will he, and then he wins the Chamber, turns heel. Big hype, right? Everyone's so excited that now he's turned heel finally after all of this. All these years, everyone wanted to see him finally just stop being the stupid Super Cena goody two-shoes character. And I think there was a good 3-4 weeks of great build-up. They started off, I just don't like the
John
fans.
Cena,
You guys
Captain
never really
Kennedy.
supported me. You always, booed me, even though I was working my all, giving my all, everything I did. Then it changed to, actually, I think Cody Rhodes is a guy who stole my character. He's a modern Cena, but he's not as good as me, so he doesn't deserve it. I liked all of that. I really did. But to me, I don't feel excited as I was 2 weeks ago, because when the guy who's in the match isn't on your show, he's off doing another shit for 2 weeks. It just kills all the hype. And I don't know how WWE doesn't understand. You have to secure the guy. For him, if he's going to be your
The guy,
main
are you
event of
watching
your
his
event,
Twitch?
He has to fucking be on your crowd every single week. I think that's what
I still hope he wins 17.
When he couldn't.
He
be
better
there
win
for
number
2 weeks.
17,
Like
damn
that
it.
last segment they just did with Cody Rhodes, and he was in front of all the championship belts, and he's showing the Bruno Sammartino belt and the Raw spinner belt and all. Look at the legacy of what this belt has meant. And if John Cena wins, he's going to throw the belt out and he's going to crap on all this legacy. That's all well and good, but Cena needs to be there to dispute it or to get back in his face or to disrespect those belts. And he's not there. And it was boring. I need Cena there. At least that's my take. If you're going to have this be your main event, and this is going to be truly era versus era, the old kind of ultimate face, John Cena was the new Hogan. Well, now Cody Rhodes is the new Cena.
I love John
like
Cena when he's doing a
guy who passed
comedy.
the last one
John
on the
Cena
line.
doing comedy
That's
is
great, but you need to
fantastic.
have the person there.
I know he
that's
has the
my
body
take.
for
I am
action,
excited for the
whatever,
match. I think
but no,
it'll be a
he's
good
way better
match.
at comedy.
Will Cena win? I kind of feel like he needs to, because if Cena doesn't win, then what the hell does he do for the rest of the year? This is his final year, and there's no story. He's not going to keep chasing. They're not, you know what I mean? There's something else would have to
Yes,
happen.
I can't
He's
wait
a heel.
Peacemaker.
Maybe they throw him against a bunch of other people. He's never wrestled as a heel before. But I think you're right. I think he's going to win. And then the rest of the year is going to be people chasing him to be the one to take down the villain Cena, because he seems unstoppable. But then the question is, what's he just going to do? Drop it at like the Rumble and then he's gone with the company and he doesn't go back to WrestleMania? It's just kind of a weird situation saying it's his last year. And we have this weird time ticker clock in the background, ticking
I did
down,
not
the
see
big
Jackpot.
hourglass in the background, the sands running down.
Yeah,
'Cause it
Dwayne
makes
The
it
Rock
limited
Johnson
what
plays
you
the
can do
same
with it.
character every single
So,
fucking
anyway,
movie.
That's my take.
Yeah.
That's
So
why I
what
like
do you think?
Batista or John Cena better.
So here's what I think. I think that the build, I know I didn't like the first 2 Cena promos where he's talking shit about the fans.
The fans, right.
I think that's okay, but it's like after like you look at, and frankly, where's The Rock? He's the one who made Cena turn heel. Why is he not here to further the story? Right? He should be here just as much. I mean, he was the reason. Like he pointed at Cena, he turned like this, And if you compare last year's main event build, which was, I want to say, nearly perfect for like a main event of WrestleMania build, last year's was mostly because of The Rock beating Cody with the whip, the belt, and talking about his mama and stuff. He made it so personal. There was blood. It was serious. It felt like a real, like, Cody personally had to win this match. To transition that to Cena doesn't like the fans,
Right.
isn't as strong of a story. It needs to be, if it's the main event of WrestleMania, it has to be I hate this other person. He has to hate Cody Rhodes because he doesn't want to give up his spot. He's like, I'm not gonna let you take over. You're not ready. And that was eventually what they got to. But the first 2 weeks, it's like, well, what were the first 2 weeks? Just like, was he just lying? Was he just like talking shit and like, right? Like what, it doesn't connect. It's not the same story. And I think it would have been a much stronger main event build if, I mean, even if you can't have Cena in person those 2 weeks, frankly, it's a great way to get heel heat. Have him send in a video, right?
Now, one thing I would like to point out is Gahul actually does seem to like wrestling. He does seem to actually care about wrestling, unlike DSP, which is something a little different from his other hosts.
You have him record something on his fucking phone.
Macho Man versus Hulk Hogan, holy shit!
Go out and record something like.
Oh, there's a classic
on the set of whatever movie I'm building. I can't spend time with you fans because the WWE is beneath me. Something like that. It's simple, but that keeps him injected in the story, even if he can't physically be present at the shows. They do this all the time when other people have commitments. It's very easy to do, and that's not even on Cena for not having the scheduling. That's on them for not thinking that they have how to book this properly. It's just bad. Despite all of that, I think it's still going to be a very exciting. When the bell rings, I think it's going to be a really exciting, great match. I think
it's going to be a great fucking match. I can't wait.
These are two very good in-ring wrestlers who wrestle very good. Like their styles are going to mesh very well. Cody and Cena. It's going to be good. The storyline, there's going to be lots of drama, probably some run-ins, some ref bumps, all the good shit, some dick kicks, everything you want in a good pro wrestling match is going to happen, and it's going to be a satisfying end to the show, even though probably it's going to be a heel win, right? It's probably going to be some kind of heel shenanigan win with Cena winning, but that's where you do. I mean, frankly, that's what you said, the hourglass in the background. They could show countdown till Cena retires. They could count down every week and have it be like a looming threat, so that when that pay-per-view, every pay-per-view feels like we have to beat Cena to get rid of this, to get him the belt off of him. Right. And then it could be like the last day. It could be like a end of the year pay-per-view. You can make that a really big show because it's the last ever Cena match. You can even call it like Cena's last match, the pay-per-view, or premium light event, whatever they call it now. And it could be a non-WrestleMania event. It'll probably happen in Saudi Arabia, realistically. If we're going to talk, we're going to see what happens. But
unfortunately,
after the fact. But if you compare it to last year's,
see you, Lee. Thanks for hanging out for at least a little bit.
Right, he made that match matter, and Cena just hasn't in comparison. It just hasn't been the same. And I want to talk about this now. Maybe I paid for my tickets last year. For WrestleMania, it was 2 nights. So it was about $500 for like 200 level bowl seating.
Now hold on, was it $500 a night, or did that include both nights?
Both nights. And I bought really early. I bought really early, so it's $250 a night, which is expensive. It's the most money I've ever spent in a wrestling show. It's really expensive, but it was gonna be a fun time. It was a great show. I don't regret going there because it was an awesome show and it was a great trip, and I had a lot of fun. We saved a lot of money.
Still cheaper than the Super Bowl.
Plane ride for me. So, but my one friend who went with me last year, he went this year, and he's just going by himself.
Okay.
And for nosebleed seats, not even good seats, because we had good seats last year. For nosebleed seats, he paid for 2 nights. This was on the pre-sale before the prices went up crazy. $824 for both nights.
Wow.
It's insanity.
Wow.
And if you compare it, it's like basically almost double the price for a main event that's half as interesting.
The build up half as interesting. There's no more streak to end or anything like that. You're right. It's just, to me, like, from what I've seen, and by the way, Slayer, who's one of my moderators, he's the guy who tipped and said that he has a friend that's going to WrestleMania, says second row seats are going for $2,000 a seat right now.
Damn.
You want to be truthful? I think that I'm shocked it's that low. I really am. I'm shocked that second row is only $2K. And the reason I say that, I attended WrestleMania, I think it was 19. I keep forgetting now. It was the New York, New Jersey first ever Rock versus Cena match as the main event. And I had floor seats. I didn't have second row seats, but I had floor seats. The Shield, this was their first WrestleMania match. They came by me in the crowd, which was really cool, right? That was about $1,000 a ticket. And that was over a decade ago.
Holy fuck.
To say second row seats are only $2K actually sounds cheap to me, but $800 for nosebleeds is insane.
Holy shit, DSP.
And that's before, and the prices went up higher. They were going for like nosebleeds. It was going for like $1,600 for both nights for the nosebleeds. 2,000 for floor seats. It must be because it's so close. Someone must have to really quick sell their tickets or something.
Maybe.
I guess.
But everything is so expensive. Like I was saying, anything that has to do with fandom, with a following, it doesn't even have to be just sports related. It could be like pop culture related or whatever. But the prices for everything has gone up so high in the last several years. Again, this box of cards right here is retails for $29.99. So it's $30 for 7 packs. Okay, that's not so bad, maybe, right? It's still expensive, but it goes for $70 now. And now they're getting scarce and they're going up to 80, 90. Like, what? It's a pack of fucking trading cards, man. This is not something that's a big valuable collectible. Each card's worth like less than $1 once you open it. So, I mean, it's just wild. And the other thing is,
people who get these collectibles, for example, when you go to WrestleMania and you buy the seat when it comes with the chair too, like the folding chair or whatever, that's even more, that's like another $300 or $400 for the folding chair.
Yeah.
It's like, for what? So you can bring it home? Are you ever going to sit on that thing? I don't know. It's out of control. The pricing on everything these days, for sure. Like, I hear that. And I was saying, we actually talked just a little bit before we started broadcasting the show tonight. I was like, I can't imagine anyone being a fan of anything except like one thing. Like, let's say football is your thing, and I like football, so I go to the games, I buy the memorabilia. WWE's my thing, I go to the matches. How could you afford to be a fan of more than one thing at any given time in the modern day? You'd have to be like a filthy rich person to be dropping this level of money for these collectibles.
Or, now bear with me on this, DSP. Or maybe you don't blow your money on stupid shit. Like, all right, guys, I'm gonna go to a UFL game. You know what I'm not doing? I'm not going to the Super Bowl. I'm going to a UFL game. Trying to go to the DC Defenders Michigan Panthers game up in Detroit. But right now, I can't get any of my friends to go with me. Assholes. I've already requested a day off. Like, guys, let's fucking go. We're DC Defenders fans. Let's fucking go. It's gonna be our best chance to see them anywhere near us. Let's go and watch. And like, oh, I'm gonna have the kids. I'm gonna have this. I'm gonna have that. I'm not gonna be able to do it. I'm gonna be busy this segment. It's like, assholes. Stop having lives. Let's fucking go. It's like $30.
In-person events, meet and greets. I can imagine if someone going to WrestleMania.
The guy with the 2D, I can't remember his name either.
They go to the show, they do the Hall of Fame, they do meet and greets, they go to other shows. You're probably dropping $10,000. You know, it's like, oh, who can afford to do that? It's just wild to me how things have changed. You know, back in the day, it would be like, you know, $50 for a ticket to go on one of these shows. I've gone to Raw and SmackDown for $50.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Okay, so I will agree with you about the Rock thing too. I feel like it was weird how the Rock came out of nowhere, said, Cody Rhodes, I want your soul. So Cody says no, and the next thing you know, John Cena turns on him, and then Rock's just gone. What happened? What happened to the whole I want your soul? Does he have John Cena's soul? I guess, but then why is he not involved anymore? It's like they just wanted a cheap way to wedge in Cena heel turn, and then he tapped out, and it made it a lot less exciting. Last year, with the, I wasn't following pro wrestling last year, but to know that there was this crazy unbeatable streak that Roman had, that, someone had to beat him, and it was going to be Cody.
That's
Rhodes
awesome,
finishing the
Sonny.
story finally after failing once. This is his last chance, and think about all those other wrestlers who got involved.
Yeah, I saved my money up for
to
like
be part of the
ClassiCon and
drama,
stuff,
that big triumphant
or
moment
YumaCon.
when Cody finally overcame and he won. He had The Rock that was involved in it with the night one match and everything. That's crazy build. Maybe arguably that's one of the best, if not the best build they've done for any kind of a match or series of matches at WrestleMania. And maybe they don't know what to do to try to get back to that level. It did seem like a big rush this year. For example, last year, so many wrestlers were involved in the plot. Think about how many people got involved with that whole plot line. Who would be involved with Cody Rhodes versus John Cena this year? Like, who would even do a run-in in that match? Can you think of a single person who has some kind of a vested, besides The Rock maybe, who else would even run in? It just seems like it's just those two guys.
Yeah. I mean, people theorizing Austin, they theorize that Austin might do a run-in, Stone Cold. I mean, the thought was last year was that when Undertaker came out, it was supposed to be Stone Cold Steve Austin. So the thought is that
Should have been Stone Cold, damn it.
you have John Cena.
Glass shattering would have sent
who's
fans through
the
the
face of
fucking
generation,
roof.
The face of the previous generation. Well, the face of the generation before that, Stone Cold Steve Austin could come out and make it, kill the old, let the new come in, I guess. But that's about all you got. And I personally, I think you could do something interesting, but I'm more interested in the post WrestleMania what they do with Cena. I don't think Cody's winning, but I mean, if Cody wins, I mean, it's not the end of the world. It could be fine. It could be fun. He could keep being champion and keep doing his reign. But I think they've kind of exhausted what they can do with Cody as champion. Personally, they've done basically. I mean, unfortunately, most of his reign was marred by the Solo Sikoa, which, by the way, Solo Sikoa was like the main character, bad guy of WWE for the entire summer, and he's not even on WrestleMania. Like,
yeah,
what happened to the guy? It's like, did he just do that bad? It's like we're just gonna give up on the guy. They committed so much.
Oh no, that'd be hilarious. This guy and Ethan Ralph kick off DSP, make their own show. That's even better.
Getting back into WWE was Raw on Netflix, and it was the big Solo Sikoa versus Roman match. I was like, oh, okay, I'm there for it. I see the match. Okay, great match. And then he just like vanished, and he came back later, and he's not really involved in anything. He just he's an afterthought or a side thought. Yeah, I guess so. I guess they felt like he didn't win over the crowds, and because of that, they had no confidence in him. Instead, now it's Jacob Fatu getting all the attention on that group.
Yeah, which he's probably the better wrestler, so I mean, makes sense. He'll have a good match with. Who's he wrestling? Oh God, I spaced it because there's so much stuff on the.
I know, because what's happened is they shuffled that around. They shuffled the whole who's gonna face like Braun Breaker, and then it was gonna be Braun Strowman, but then it's LA Knight. It's like, wait, what? So I think it's LA Knight versus
LA
Fatu,
Knight,
and I guess Braun's out.
Like, I guess I thought Braun would be in it. It would be like a triple threat. But yeah, it's official because we're now what we'll do is we'll get into the actual cards now, each match breaking down what we think about.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we're going to get to that in a few. I guess we'll start now. And by the way, guys, thanks. You're a great audience tonight. People actually talking about wrestling.
Great audience. Give me money.
It would be great if you could support the stream in some way tonight. Anything appreciated right now. Super chats, tips, memberships.
Oh,
subs,
Joe
anything
Henry would be great.
Okay. Okay. So night one, which is Saturday, April 19th. This is, by the way, this is the order they're listing it online. But to be clear, this does not mean that this is the order they're going to go with. For example, I remember many years ago, everyone thought that the Daniel Bryan and Sheamus World Heavyweight title match at WrestleMania over a decade ago was going to be the main event. It curtain jerked. You know what I mean? So they could always change the order of these things at any moment. But this is how they've got it listed. So the first match, funny enough, War Raiders versus the New Day for the World Tag Team titles, the Raw Tag Team Championships. Okay. And funny enough, the way I said we were going to do this, we're going to talk about, all the story and the build-up leading to this match. What story? There's no story to this, right? It was just like a momentary thought that New Day is now heels. They won a title match. There's like one match, and now all of a sudden they're in the title picture. It's very bizarre.
Yeah. The New Day had their heel turn. I think that was the first episode of Raw on Netflix. It was either the first or second episode. It was pretty early on.
Way early on, yes.
Months ago. And
yeah, last week
they
just
turned
doesn't
heel,
exist
they had a
anymore,
couple
apparently.
promos, and then they've done nothing for months. They've been there. They've done a couple segments, but they haven't had a storyline. And now they're chasing the tag titles. It would have made a lot more sense if they were tag champs. If they were chasing. They did some heel stuff to be tag champs going in. It's always better to have a heel team go in as champion,
Right.
And retain if they want to keep them as champs. Then I'm assuming they're going to win the titles. I don't know what the point of keeping the War Raiders is because they're not going anywhere either. I don't know. It's bizarre. New Day was so over as a tag team, even just like 3 or 4 years ago when they had the trios, Big E, and even after Big E left, they were still really popular. They were. They were the longest reigning tag champs. They were the first ones to break Demolition Streak. And I don't think this heel, the first time they did the heel turn was shocking. It was like, whoa. But the long reign, the long term of that has so far not been great. Maybe they'll turn around after they win the titles. I could see them being pretty good heel champs. But no, frankly, the WWE doesn't, and it's not just WWE, no wrestling company really gives a shit about the tag team divisions that they have right now. None. There's no, New Japan doesn't. Maybe
Too long, didn't read whatever explanation for who this is. Gahul once did a wrestling show with PPP, and then they broke up. Much like DSP broke up with PPP. So now they both hate PPP.
Some Mexican wrestling company does, I don't know. But New Japan doesn't, AEW doesn't, WWE doesn't. I don't really think TNA does. Maybe NXT does. I don't really watch NXT right now.
I don't either, yeah.
There's no one.
The problem I see with this match is, I'm not saying it's not going to be a good match. I actually think it will be a great match in the ring. I really believe that War Raiders and New Day will put on a really great technical, high-flying, high-impact match. It'll be very entertaining. If this is the curtain jerker, I think it's a good match to have curtain jerk because it could get the crowd into the wrestling vibe, right? But take a look at the War Raiders, who were brought out. First, they were War Machine when they were in the Indies and whatever. They brought them to WWE. We can't have you have that name. That's Marvel Comics will sue the fuck out of us, right? So you can't be War Machine anymore. You got to be the War Raiders. So they bring them in NXT. They're hot. They're really powerful. They're just dominating NXT. They win the titles and all of that. They bring them to the main roster. You can't be the War Machine anymore. Or excuse me, you can't be the War Raiders anymore because that was NXT. So now you're the Viking Raiders. And that was just like the
that was fucking stupid.
Possibly made. I think we can all agree.
It was even worse when they first started because it wasn't the Viking Raiders. It was the Viking Experience.
Oh,
that was what they were first. They were first the Viking Experience. And then they decide, okay, that's horrible. You can be the Viking Raiders. That's fine.
And we get that War Machine is cool because it's like, all right, we understand they're not really Vikings, but they're badasses, right? So they get in there, they're kicking ass. We don't need them to actually act like fucking Vikings. Like, we're not 4 years old. This is the 1980s anymore. This is the dumbest thing to get them on TV and not do the NXT angle, right? So stupid.
Right.
DLC, probably not. I've not
their gimmick in Ring of Honor.
felt the need to spend the money for that, unfortunately.
It
is a really good game, though, so maybe I will.
Power moves.
Right.
And they dress in cool gear. They had cool, armor and face paint. They look like, wow. It's what they're called. Legion of Doom, right? It's just the same thing.
Right.
But modern day. And that's fine. I think they had a good gimmick. And I always hope they can turn things around with people they've soured. But every time WWE sours on someone, there's like a stank left on them. I'm not sure if you feel this way. Like, once they fuck something up, it's really hard to unfuck it.
Yeah.
It's hard to get over your
I can't unfuck your
when they
sister.
were really bad. It's always in the nagging in the back of your head.
I don't think they're even
They've
Scandinavian.
turned other
Who
things around.
knows?
They've overcome. People have been in worse positions and overcome it. So I'm hopeful this will be a fun match. I think it's a great way to start. Excitement, fast paced. That's good shit.
I think that's why, like I said, there's no build up. That's why it doesn't seem as exciting as it should be because the War Raiders literally don't have a storyline. They don't. They have nothing. They're the champions, and people try to beat them, and they stop them, and then they're on to the next. They're on to the next. There's no real force behind them. There's no build here. New Day are villains. That's great.
Why? What's the deal? Nothing. They're just villains and they want the title. So hopefully after WrestleMania, they'll recover. Whoever ends up winning this will have a storyline. They'll start taking the tag team seriously. But if that's
I've been
curtains
enjoying
are
the
ripped,
spear. It's a
that'll be
pretty
exciting.
badass
I'm
weapon.
excited for the wrestling, but certainly plot-wise, there's nothing there of any substance. On the flip side of that, the next match does have some substance. Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano. Okay?
Chad
And
Gable.
for those who don't know, El Grande Americano is now the alter ego of Chad Gable. Chad Gable just kept losing to luchadors, notably Rey Mysterio or people in the LWO for a while, and he felt like he had to leave and re-find himself. That was the plot. He apparently went to Mexico and he found some guy who hands him this luchador's mask, but it's apparently has the American flag on it, and now he basically cosplays as like a luchador every week, even though most of his moves are still the same moveset that he used to use anyway.
Yeah.
So I like the plot line. It's funny. This is the comedy plot line, right? And I think when done well, a comedy plot line can work. I feel happy, and here's why. When I was watching WWE years ago, before I quit for like 5 years, Chad Gable was like bottom of the barrel, completely being misused constantly. He was the one who was jobbing to Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin was making fun of him constantly, all kinds of shit like that. It was like unbearable crap. Okay. Now to see him in a stable, the stable is solid. He's got a fun plot line going. He's a great wrestler. I'm liking it. But Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano, I think it'll be a fun one-off match. But the problem here is it doesn't really matter. Like, there's no stakes involved. It would have been cool if, like, you know, loser loses their luchador mask or something silly like that. But it's just a regular match. It feels like this is the beginning of a build to something rather than the end. And at WrestleMania, you want this to be the end of a story. It doesn't feel to me like this is the end of a story. So.
Right. See, frankly, the obvious it should be a match versus mask match. I mean, what are they gonna build at SummerSlam and do this? Did the match have like to continue this feud until SummerSlam? We're gonna have to listen. Comedy storylines are good, but they have to not be super drawn out and long. Is my thing, right? They're very funny at first, but the more you repeat the angle, like telling a joke over and over again, then it's not funny anymore.
Right.
So you can be. It's funny the first couple weeks, and then, you know, if this is like a month-long storyline, they need to get the mask off of, you know, El Grande Americano right away. Now, the funny thing to do would be take the mask off and it's not Chad Gable underneath. Right? They somehow find a way to get someone who looks just like, has the exact same physique as Chad Gable. If they got someone in NXT who looks just like him, they take
That'd
it
be
off, and
hilarious.
it's not him. That would be like, everyone would lose their shit. But I don't think that's what's going to happen.
No, I don't. And will someone be unmasked at WrestleMania? I don't know. If they do, like if Chad Gable gets
The host
unmasked,
was Cypress
it's kinda
TV.
like
I completely forgot his name.
because it ended so quick, you know. So I feel like maybe there will be some antics there. There's obviously going to be interference in the match from each stable. Honestly, who do I want to win? Obviously, I want El Grande Americano to win. I want this plot to continue. I want to see antics every week with this guy, but I don't know what they're going for. Who do you think will win the match?
I think frankly, it's going to be Rey. I don't think
Really?
Rey's losing. Rey, I think you're going to have the babyface go over. You don't want to like have the, it's WrestleMania. It's supposed to be like a feel-good show, right?
Yeah.
For the most part, especially since I think Cena's going to win, and it's going to be a heel closing the show. I think you have Rey win this, and probably through some cheating, but you might be right. If we're going by, if this wasn't WrestleMania, if this was like, you know, the Elimination Chamber this match is happening at, I would for sure say Chad Gable's going to win. But, you know, this may be the final match that they're having. This may be the finish of the story, just they're doing it early.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, I would say Rey wins. But it could go either way. I could see it going either way.
And the funny part is, it doesn't really matter anyway, because there was no stakes. There's no title. It's not mask versus mask. So it really could go either way and doesn't really affect stuff. So, okay.
Sad but
the
true.
next match for night one, Jade Cargill versus Naomi. Oddly enough, no stipulation, no special thing. It's just a match. And I thought for sure that when they finally announced, you know, this is going to be the match at WrestleMania, that it was going to be like a grudge match, a no holds barred, or, you know, last woman standing match or something like that.
Now that would have been awesome.
Supposedly it was Naomi who took out Jade back in the fall and cost her all this time off TV. And now these heated back and forth promos that they've been doing, you know.
Yeah, good point. This is all for free. Gahul not getting paid for this.
Steal Bianca's thunder and become the new Bianca Belair, and she was trying to save her from that and all of that. And now she's got a whole new persona, caution, right? Or whatever, caution tape all over her body or whatever. Proceed with caution. But honestly, my take on it is, I think it'll be an okay match, but I'm not looking forward to it that much. Once again, doesn't seem like there's any stakes on the line. If it was a Extreme Rules match or a last woman standing match, at least it would be something different. But to see these two go one-on-one, Jade doesn't look polished to me. I've only seen her for a few matches right now. She doesn't seem very polished to me. seems like she has the look, she has the power, but she just doesn't have that finesse yet. Naomi's been in the business now for a while. She's fast. She could pull off some moves. I don't know if these two have a style that's going to click. I almost feel like this will be the botch fest of WrestleMania 41. You know,
this is
I
going to
feel
be a
that
very
way.
sloppy match. This is going to be extremely choreographed. So I mean, I've watched. I'm a big AEW guy, so I've watched all of Jade's run AEW.
Okay.
And she was presented very well there. She had a good presentation, but she was not. She never clicked in the ring quite yet. She was getting there. And in the AEW, she was doing more matches every week on TV and obviously off TV. So she was doing more in the ring. WWE has very much protected her and not had her do matches, which I think has been a mistake. You need to have her wrestle more because she's too green. She's not quite there yet in the ring where she can click. So I think Naomi's going to win, which I think would be wrong. I think Jade Cargill's the obvious, her look, her personality, her charisma. She's obviously this big star of the match, right? Or she's the new star they want to put over. But I don't know if they see a real future in her because I don't think she's going to be able to get at the level they want her to perform in the ring.
Right.
I think this is either going to be you're right, it's going to be a horrible botch fest, very sloppy and messy, or it's going to be like the most choreographed to perfection where all the moves have been like planned out and rehearsed ahead of time for like a month plus. They probably have done this match in a
I say if DSP doesn't get to open cards with this guy, he's gonna be so pissed.
Will be my guess what's going to happen.
Because you gotta think, guys, this guy hates PPP almost as much as I do. He'll be the perfect co-host, make me all the money with all the drama, and then no money.
Will it be good? Probably not. Will it be? Will it mean anything in the long run? I think whoever wins this match is gonna fight. It's probably gonna go against Bianca next. I don't want to spoil anything. I think Bianca's probably winning the title, and I think this is who's gonna fight Bianca next. Would be my guess. I think this is a feud, a singles feud to set up. Naomi and Jade. It's just a setup for Jade probably and Bianca later on, which is the big money match. You probably do it either next year's WrestleMania or SummerSlam. Maybe, or Royal Rumble or something.
Right.
That's a big money match. It's like these two big, muscly black women just clashing. It's on paper and execution, and they've had the history with the tag team. It makes sense to do it as a big match later on.
I agree. And I'll say this, no matter who wins this match, I hope it's the only match. I hope they don't go, let's have rematch after rematch of Jade versus Naomi. Please, Lord,
The
no.
best of 7.
Just let them have
Best
the
of
one at
7
WrestleMania.
series.
Then let them move on. Let them both move on to other plots. I'd be happy with that. I actually don't care who wins, but I agree. It does seem like probably they're trying to get them both into a title picture situation. Let's see what happens. Okay. So the next one, LA Knight defending the U.S. title against Jacob Fatu. And it's just weird to me because, so what happened to Braun? I just don't, I get it. Like Jacob, fucked him up a week or two ago in the ring or whatever. Repeated butt strikes in the ring, hip strikes in the turnbuckle again. That he splashed on him. He's the fake blood again. But so now he's just gone because really the buildup since January was Braun versus Jacob.
I doubt we
Braun
get
got
anything
destroyed
good
by
from
him.
Ray.
So then Braun took him
He
out
ain't
of the
done shit
Rumble. So then
lately.
Jacob got him back, and then Braun got back, and then LA Knight kind of got thrown in there, holding the title. And okay, these guys at some point, so they're gonna wrestle you for the title. LA Knight keeps saving Braun when the new bloodline keeps kind of trying to jump him and stuff. And then all of a sudden it was just
I say if it's not
announced,
OIC
this last
saving
week,
the
yeah,
day,
it's just a singles match. LA
gonna
Knight
be
versus
another
Jacob
$100
for the
tip,
title.
guys.
With the big question mark in the match is what will happen with the new bloodline? Because that last show, there was huge tensions between Solo and Jacob, where basically Jacob is fed up with Solo being in charge, interjecting himself into matches. I mean, at one point, he cost Jacob a match, which he would have been the number one contender because he got him DQ'd and stuff. And so I guess the question is, will it be a match where Jacob looks like he's about to win and Solo gets involved and either costs him the match or maybe turns on him? Maybe they'll turn on him after the match if he loses. Is this the breaking up of the new bloodline? I think that's what WWE is really going for is the end game here. That's the focus. Not necessarily does Jacob win the title, but does the new bloodline stay together after what happens at WrestleMania? For me, I haven't seen much of LA Knight. I've only seen, a few
LA
big
Knight
matches
is so
that he's
fucking
done
good.
when he beat Nakamura for the U.S. title and a couple other matches. I like him, but at the same time, he is kind of like that emulation of the bygone era of the 90s, the big rock kind of presentation in the ring. I get that. I think Jacob Fatu is more exciting. I like seeing this guy, this up-and-coming Samoan he's fast. He's got great moves. They're building him as a monster, despite the fact he's actually not even that big of a guy. They've built him as a monster that can beat monsters. I want to see Jacob beat LA Knight, and then maybe the bloodline turns on him and the plot line becomes it's Jacob versus the bloodline. Maybe that's the next thing. It's Jacob versus Solo for the U.S. title. But I want to see Jacob win this match. I hope he does.
No, I want LA Knight to win. I want LA Knight to win all the championships.
And then it starts that plot line instead. We'll see.
I think what you just said is more likely. I think
shit.
I think LA Knight. So LA Knight has had a really great run up until The Rock came back at last year's WrestleMania at Royal Rumble. You know, post Royal Rumble, right? When after Cody ran, it was last year. He was doing really good. He was really hot. You know, he had great charisma. Everyone's like, oh, he's so great. And then The Rock comes back. It's like, oh wait, LA Knight's just doing The Rock. It became very clear, but they kind of put him on the back burner. They kind of put him to the side. But now he's starting to get a resurgence again. He's very popular. And I think what we've seen with this whole WrestleMania show, and we'll get to this with Jay and Gunther, they're definitely taking time to push and go with people who the fans like, right? Who the
As
fans
they
are
should.
getting behind, who the fans buy merch for. They're taking things like merch sales and the chants and the reaction, the live crowd reaction. They're really focusing on that with how they're building this show. Especially this year's WrestleMania, more so than WrestleMania in a long time, actually. So for that reason, I think they're going to keep the title on LA Knight, because I think he's a guy who's very marketable. He's got the Slim Jim commercials. He's got a lot of stuff, and people really like him. The fans love the guy. He's a very fun guy to be in the crowd chanting with, right, and doing his stuff. So I think for storyline reasons, you might be right. Solo maybe should win. It might be a better long-term thing, but it's probably likely that not Solo. Jacob.
Yeah.
I'm getting them all.
It's okay.
There's so many Samoans. it's so confusing. I see Solo turning on Jacob in this match and costing.
So many Samoans all the time.
I think you do the big storylines here. Either that, or you do it on the Raw. You have Solo win, you have Jacob win, and then have it happen on the Raw after Mania.
Have it be like the classic Evolution moment where Randy won the title, and then the next night they turned on him on Raw. Batista had him on his shoulders. It drops him during the celebration.
Yes.
Maybe that kind of classic screw job. I could see that the next day, like the two of them, Tama and Solo, team up and beat the crap out of him. And there is a strong rumor that I guess they signed another one of the Samoan family, and they're on
Holy shit.
And this might be the next hot guy.
How many Samoans are there?
Zilla?
Bloodline. Whoever it is, someone mentioned it a week or two ago on the show, and I was like, see, I didn't know that. I'm not in the know on all the behind-the-scenes signings and everything, but apparently there's a big Samoan newcomer that may join the family, and so that'll push Jacob out, and it could be those three against Jacob moving forward, something like that. So, well, I hope Jacob wins, but if he doesn't, I guess it is what it is. I'm okay with LA Knight still being the U.S. champion. Just I wanted to see Jacob.
LA Knight, LA Knight, LA Knight.
To have him hold the title.
Yeah.
So, okay. Now this one. Now I am actually very curious to hear your thoughts, particularly on this next match. All right. Tiffany Stratton defending the women's title against Charlotte Flair. I'm not even.
Tiffy time.
I want to hear your take on this first before I say a word about it, because I got a good amount to say. So, what do you think about this whole build-up, this plot line, and this match?
Tiffy time.
So Charlotte wins the Rumble, and they're obviously it's Tiffany versus Charlotte. It makes way more sense than going for Reeee again, right? And everything kind of moving kind of slow. It's not that interesting of a build. They're not really doing much to, stuff happens and they go back and forth, and then all of a sudden the show we were supposed to the SmackDown we were supposed to cover last week, which happened 2 weeks ago now. Yeah. Right. And
well, they are going to mention last week.
Just loses the script in Chicago. It's so embarrassing. I don't know. People are saying that they're going to start shooting on each other, and I think they probably turned it into they probably fixed their stuff, and it's going to be like a work shoot now or something. They're going to do some kind of work shoot angle now, but that segment was so bad. It was painful to watch live. It was like a painfully bad. It was obviously Charlotte got rocked, and she went off. She couldn't figure out, couldn't handle.
Charlotte did not like what was being said.
People booing her too loud or whatever the fuck.
Right.
And then out of fucking, and then Tiffany fires back with the, you've been divorced 3 times stuff, and it's just like, oh man. I don't know. I think this is gonna be a shit show of a match. If it goes off without it, if it's no problems, it will be a miracle. There's gonna be something that goes horribly wrong. It's either gonna be incredibly like disastrous and eventful, or it might probably just be boring. Will be my guess. It's gonna be a boring match that leads to nothing. And I think Tiffany's just gonna put over. I think it might even be a really short squash match. You could even have that happen. They just kill Charlotte.
That'd be sad.
The way I see it, first of all, I think the entire thing's been a complete fail shit show. Okay, since the beginning. She won the Rumble, and you don't know who she's gonna wrestle. And that's when I started.
Kumi, how's it going?
Again, was
Oh, it's been a fucking train wreck. It's been fucking great.
Stratton was. I didn't know about her whole kind of. She's like Barbie or whatever is her character or whatever. And then I started watching SmackDown about a month and a half ago to prepare for WrestleMania, and the plot between these two, it's so bad. The writing has been bad every time that they have a face-to-face. When they do their individual promos, it's not as bad. But the moment that they have to talk to each other, it's like they're like from different planets. Like they don't even connect at all in any way with any of the dialogue they've had back and forth. It's just this weird disconnect botch fest. And every time it's like cringeworthy. God, they're doing another interview with these two. Please don't. I don't want another promo. And now it's gotten to the point where it got so, like you said, in Chicago, it got so bad, that being the culmination of just every encounter they've had has been cringeworthy. You kind of you want to see the train wreck that's going to be WrestleMania just to see how the hell this is going to happen. But the sad fact is, it's a freaking title match too. Like, it's an actual title match that might actually be the worst match of the show because it's been such a bad build, bad promo. The storyline makes no sense anymore. I can't even see these two having a match without having tons of problems. I think there's going to be botches. Yeah. I think there's going to be stiff hits. I think there's going to be all kinds of issues. And at the end of the day, I'll be honest, I don't think Tiffany is a very good champion. I just don't. I don't think that she's been that good of a character and that good of a wrestler.
Tiffany's been incredible. Shut the fuck up, DSP.
I also don't want Charlotte to be the champion either, because we've been there, done that 7,000 times. And what's the point of just giving her the belt another time? Who would be the next person to challenge and beat her? I have no idea, because they're not really building anyone. So
that's why it should be Tiffany time all the time.
Really care. I hate saying that about a title match at WrestleMania, that I don't really care about it, but it actually upsets me that they've done nothing in these months of buildup to find a way to make this interesting. In fact, every time they tried, they just made it worse. So, I mean, realistically, I think Tiffany will win. I actually do, but I don't think it's going to be fun. I don't think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be like, everyone's going to be disappointed with the outcome no matter what happens.
Let me get your thoughts on this. On the Chicago promo, I think Charlotte might have been drunk. Maybe even high. I think she was on some kind of thing. The way she was talking, the way she was behaving, I don't think she was all quite there. I think she was on, that was not just someone getting just rattled. I think she's on some, maybe it's, I don't want to say pills, but I think she might
have to be on pain pills to get through all that.
A little bit too much sips of stuff to get her nerves ready or something.
I say with the injuries she's had,
she's talking like she wasn't like slurring her words or anything.
Yeah,
but
my take is Charlotte still to this day, she's been in this company now for over a decade, right? And she's had highs and lows. She's had times when people love her and times when people don't like her. But typically when people don't like her, it's because that's her character. Now I think it's the first time she's actually starting to realize people actually don't like her. Like, she's getting the heat like Logan Paul, right? They're booing her during her promo. Just shut up. We don't like you. We don't want to hear it. And I actually think she can't handle it. Like, I feel like she's actually legit felt disrespected in Chicago when people wouldn't let her do her promo and were booing so loudly, and it made her get so rattled that she cracked. And that's the problem, is if she's going to be at the top of the card, you can't crack. You have to be able to handle whatever's thrown your way. You have to adjust on the fly. When you're in a match,
unfortunately for her, DSP, she couldn't lean in manual ban the people in the crowd.
I mean, she's been in the company a long time. She's been the champion so many times. And to see her falling apart at this point, and like you said, it got personal. Where
I say with the amount of injuries she's had, though,
so many times,
and to be on pain pills would not surprise me.
Was part of it. She knew that was part of the promo.
Which actually happens to a lot of, not just wrestlers, but athletes in general.
Who knows? But to me, I don't think she was on something. I definitely see this as like her losing her cool. Legit. 100% losing her cool
on the grand stage in front of everyone for the first time, and you got to wonder how that's going to translate into the WrestleMania match. So,
Yeah.
who do you think's going to win?
I mean, I think Tiffany's winning. I think Charlotte might have been the original plan, but at this point, I don't see how I can put the belt on Charlotte, especially after that fuck up. I just, whatever the plans were, I would get Charlotte off TV as soon as possible and let her cool off, let her shit figure out, and get her away from the title picture because it's not going good.
The only way I could see them spinning it positively for them is if she wins, but then they change her character to be like a nutcase. Like her actual character is, I'm crazy, I'm unhinged, I can't even, I'm not in control anymore. But I don't even think she would want to do that.
That'd be good.
I feel like for her,
I think
she would hate that idea. Like, no, I'm supposed to be the queen. I'm supposed to be, she actually thinks big shit in her head about herself because she's a Flair. I don't think she would ever go for that.
I mean, she is a Flair, so
it would be a good.
It comes with a huge fucking ego.
I don't see it happening either. I think you move past it and you do something else with Tiffany Stratton, but I don't know what you do. I think WWE's got a women's division problem overall. Like, I'm not a big fan of women's wrestling, to be honest. I don't particularly care for it. It's not my favorite thing. I think a lot of it's pretty bad, but they don't have.
Rhea Ripley's the best, but I love
a lot of people on
Asuka.
the payroll. They don't have a lot of main event roster talent depth that they can turn to, which is why Charlotte's in the main event position to begin with, right? Because like, who do you bring in to face Tiffany Stratton at WrestleMania?
They need Becky Lynch back, and she hasn't been on for a while. People thought she was going to be back, and then Alexa came back, and then took the time off right away again. So yeah, they really don't have that person right now. You're correct. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Finish the thought.
I mean, you could say the NXT women's roster is doing well. They brought like Roxanne Perez up, but I don't see that being a good feud for Tiffany Stratton. Like, I just don't see who you put against her in the long term. I think realistically, they probably should take it off her and put it on Charlotte because she could have more interesting feuds. But who do you have face Tiffany next? Nia Jax, right?
Yeah. Who also has been off TV for a long time, right? Like, it's exactly like there's no one. Who's next in line? I have no clue. I legit have no idea where this is going after WrestleMania. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Now, this one is just, I'm sorry. It's funny to me. Okay. Gunther defending the World Heavyweight title against main event Jey Uso. And now after...
it should be Gunther, but they'll give it to Uso, unfortunately.
Jey has won the Royal Rumble. It's official. Main event Jey Uso isn't in the main event of WrestleMania. No. He's not in any level of main event. Even though he's wrestling for a title, he's been downgraded. He's probably going to be like either next to last match. Some people are speculating this will actually be the curtain jerker. Like, this will literally be like when it was Daniel Bryan against Sheamus many years ago, just kind of swept under the rug, and maybe it'll be a real fast match, just get it done with.
Or
that'd be unfortunate in my opinion, but who knows?
WrestleMania 35, which I was at. And there is the argument that people say that the most important match in the show is the last match, but the second most important is the first match. People do say that, but it's also the curtain jerker. You're right. And putting the world title in the curtain jerker, I think, can you do a little rant about Jey Uso and this whole fucking build quick? I do something I want to get off my chest.
Go right ahead.
A little quick rant about Jey Uso, and then I'll let you talk what you got to say about it. But Jey Uso is an extremely over wrestler for people who are live in the building. He is a terrible television character. He is not interesting as a person you watch on TV. When you are there live, if you're in the crowd and you're doing his chants, you're doing all stuff with him, it's probably a very entertaining, fun thing, right? But sitting at home...
Yeah, but the people who paid money to go see him... Yeah, they're going to be the ones in the stands. They're the ones paying $2,000 a second row.
Boring slog to get through. He is not...
So I don't know if this is going to be the death of Smart guys, because he'll try to have Ethan Ralph back on, I'm sure.
Doing the fucking hand things and him going, yeet. This is so bad TV. It's just fucking shit TV, but he sells amazing merch and he's well over with the crowd, so I get why they've done it. He's the main event. I get why they have him win the Royal Rumble. Like, from a logical perspective, the guy who's selling the most merch and is the most popular, gets the loudest live reaction.
Increased medical benefits, dude. That costs money. They can't do that.
There's disconnect with, like, and people say it's the online audience. I don't think it's just the online audience. I think it's the people who aren't in the building audience, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't work. And they almost fixed the storyline when they had Gunther Bloody Jimmy, when he had him and he was pounding on him, he was bloodying him up. That was really good. Sink your teeth into this. We're finally getting a real story for this match, right? And then the next week, they kind of just have Jay come out and cut a promo on him. And it's like, what the if you watched your brother like get beaten to a bloody pulp in front of you.
Holla holla for the dollar Cyclops. Let's add you to the board.
Would you not just come and beat the shit out of the guy who did that? Why are you coming down and talking to them? You know, it's ridiculous. They should have had they shouldn't have probably touched until maybe this week. They should have had a walk to the back brawl. They should have had like 2 separate promos. Like, they should have had Jay still be in the hot. Here's what I think they should have done. The week after, they should have Jay do like a video from the hospital waiting room on Gunther saying everything he said in that promo, but like he's waiting in the hospital waiting for his brother to come out, like some recovery surgery or something. You know, that would have been really fun and exciting. It would have been like, okay, now Gunther can be like watching on the screen. He's like shook. He's like, oh my God, I'm terrified. Instead, like Jay's just saying to his face, and it's like, who cares? You know, I beat your brother up and you're just going to talk to me? It needs to be physical. It needs to have like emotion and energy, and it just doesn't have that. And so it's not the main event. And I feel bad for Gunther because he deserves better, because he's an amazing wrestler. He's an amazing world champion.
Completely agree there. Yes, he does deserve better than this. This has been ass these last 3.5 months. It really has been. Shit.
Frankly, his whole World Heavyweight Championship run has been a serious downgrade from his Intercontinental Championship run. He was well more respected, doing better, more high-profile matches as the Intercontinental Champion than he was as the World Heavyweight Champion, which is insane. It should be a huge upgrade, but it's almost been like a downgrade.
It has been.
And he's going to go from being last year in WrestleMania, having the best in-ring match at WrestleMania, probably, arguably, to now wrestling the guy who had the worst in-ring match at last year's WrestleMania. You know, it's like, oh, I feel bad for him, but Jay's winning. He's gonna win, and we're all gonna go yeet. All the fans of Las Vegas are gonna go yeet, yeet.
So
Probably.
my take on this is the problem.
Oh, it's very boring rebout.
With Jey Uso has
It's
been
just
very simple. He wins the Rumble.
They went
Next
hours
night,
without
he's
actually
white
talking
hot,
about
he's
wrestling.
running out there, the whole crowd's going crazy, right? But then immediately what starts happening is plot lines where he doubts himself. He's botching, and they make that part of the plot that, oh, can he really do it? He better man up and be tougher if he's going to beat Gunther. And when you do that to the guy who you just started to build momentum behind, everyone's excited now because he won the Rumble, already you've killed the momentum. And then you have plot lines where you've got Jimmy coming in, and they're going to have tag matches, and then it's Jimmy and Gunther and stuff. If they had kept that hype behind him since January and just kept rolling with it, have him do a series of matches that are actually interesting matches, people who you don't think he could beat, but he could beat. Have him beat big men. Have him beat shit. Have him beat Solo Sikoa, right? Have him just beat people left and right who previously you think he's not on their level, but he's now proving himself night after night, week after week, that he can actually hang with Gunther. Because the truth is, he's lost to Gunther, 3 times already? So we don't believe that he can beat Gunther. He lost to Gunther at Saturday night's main event right before the Royal Rumble. So it's not believable that he's going to beat Gunther. So
Holla holla for the dollar Sonny with 10. Count it 10. Count it 10. Get the memberships to Cyclops, Just Gunther Anderson, Solid Fool, Gato, Just Another Parasite, Ted Bundy, Spike Annie, Blood Eye Ben, Oliver D, Deadeye 09. Woo! Holla holla for the memberships. I'll make sure to post a link to the Discord after the show.
do that plot line. Instead, it's just all over the place. It's, I don't know if I believe in myself. This week I'm confident. The next week I'm not confident. Now my brother has to get involved, but now he's not in it anymore. He's getting bloodied, but now I'm going to be a sissy and just talk to someone. It's just sad. It's not a good build, in my opinion. I think the way that they redeem it, they do curtain jerk. Jay goes out there and literally beats the shit out of Gunther, like just overwhelms him with quick moves. Boom, boom, pins him. It's over. It's like a 60-second match. And yes, that's bad for Gunther. What will happen is all the J marks will go fucking crazy. All the J marks in the arena will be yeeting like crazy, and the whole place will go nuts.
Holla holla for the dollar again with 5. Get the memberships from Sonny, Push Start, Chio, JP, Jules the Beast Fan, and Gerrit Arneson. Woo woo! Oh, this wasn't Star Wars? I kid. Thanks, hackers, for not touching my monies. I say, yeah, you got lucky there, Sonny, that they didn't get your monies.
It'll be over. It's not this lingering shit. Like, we have to get this match over. How's it gonna go? If this is like a long, drawn-out match between Jay and Gunther,
Where's
I actually think it's not gonna work because we all know Gunther's the better wrestler. We're not stupid. We know that if it was really a test of technical skill,
Jay.
Exactly, it's gonna make Jay look bad.
Why can I not
it's gonna
find
make
Discord?
Gunther look good. Then why is Jay winning? I don't understand. The whole thing's been a shit show since the beginning. If they were gonna build it,
I literally cannot find
become
Discord.
the new
On my PC
hype
should be
guy,
right there.
the new Super Cena kind of guy.
There we go.
To get this win and it be believable. They've not done that. They just dropped it, botched it over and over and over. And now I don't care about to be honest, I don't care about
Sonny.
We all know Jay's winning. If he doesn't win, then it was all for naught anyway. Wow, what a waste of a Royal Rumble. If he wins, I still don't care because I still don't believe it. I still don't believe that he could beat Gunther. It was just because they wanted this to be their hype man and the guy who sells merch. So, yeah, pretty sad, but I agree with you. Jay's definitely winning. I guess it's just a matter of when the match happens and how fast it goes. So,
yeah, I see this lasting long. I don't think it's gonna be a short match. I wish you were right. I think that'd be the best for everyone involved. It was short, but for some reason I see this being like second or third.
What an amazing show, right, guys?
Maybe third to last, but like there'll be probably a filler match between this and the actual main event.
After an hour of drama, they finally got to talk about wrestling. It's just, I hate this match. This match is stupid. I don't get who's going to be a fan of this match. This match is stupid.
But, I hope you're right.
Are you going to like any of these matches or not?
there was a super chat that came in from Old Ugly Bastard. It was $10. I just want to give him a shout out there. Thank you, Old Ugly Bastard. Guys, we're going to be going. We have one more match to talk about night one, and then we're going through all of night two, and that's the show. If you've enjoyed the wrestling commentary tonight, please support
and give me more money
in any way, whether it's a super chat, a tip, membership, sub, all that helps. Would be great if we could hit $100 so we could get one card pack opening here for the pre-Wrestlemania show. Okay, cool. All right. The main event.
He has $100. He really does.
And I don't know how much you actually have to say about this one. I'll let you talk about this one first because I'm actually curious to hear your take on this one first, Cahool. Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, triple threat for the future of the business, whatever that means, with Paul Heyman now in the corner of CM Punk because
it should be Seth Rollins, but you never know what to do with that.
Paul Heyman would be in his corner when he so chooses, and he chooses this to be the match, which is the big reason that there's dissension now between Roman and Paul. So what are your thoughts on this one?
A couple minds about this. I get, like, if you look at star power, this is the match with the most main event stars in it, right? But I think the stakes for this match are very weak. I think this was a lot better a couple weeks ago when we didn't know what the favor was. I think if the favor was still a mystery going into WrestleMania, it would have been a lot more exciting. And the favor has to be that Paul has to help Punk and not Roman. If it was a surprise then and we didn't know who it was going to be, right, it would be more exciting of a match. It would be higher drama. Now,
you really think that they revealed the actual favor? I don't think so.
Kind of taken away. The mystery was given away too early, I think. And I think that this whole, like, the stake, it's the future of the business, that's a load of bullcrap. Like, who cares? That's just nonsense talking to, like, try and justify this going on last when there's no title at stake, right? I think you realistically should have hotshot the title maybe off of Gunther or something, or this should have been a title match, right?
Yeah.
If they were fighting over a world title, this would have been a much more interesting, like, I want this champion, I want to walk out of this match as world champion, there's something for it.
Yeah.
But obviously they haven't done that, and so it's just a storyline. I just want to beat the other guy. I think
which is pretty lackluster, unfortunately.
I want to be in the main event of WrestleMania as, like, the whole, like, crux of the CM Punk character. It's a bit silly. It shouldn't be that you want to be in the main event. It should be, I want to win the main event, right? It shouldn't be just like, I'm here, I've made it to the top. It's got to be, I want to come out on top. I want to beat everyone else. The story of every match should be, I want to beat the other guy at its very core, right? Whereas the payoff for CM Punk was already, well, I just want to be in the match. So it's like, it's not as strong. And
right, for sure.
I think that the Seth Rollins angle, I think Seth Rollins is probably the strongest character going to this show. I think Roman's been basically absent from TV for months. So he's only shown up a little bit to, like, matter. And I don't think he's that invested in the match. The one that realistically, if this was done right, this should have been Seth Rollins versus CM Punk by themselves. Roman shouldn't really be that involved because they're the ones who actually hate each other, right? Roman's just kind of there because he's there because they eliminate each other from the Royal Rumble.
Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns have pretty good history.
But
it makes sense for them to be there.
Roman's the biggest star out of all of them.
Bill wants to bottom.
Event. It means something. I don't buy that it's the biggest WrestleMania triple threat ever. Main event. There's been a lot of. There's been like the Benoit match. There was the women's main event a couple years ago with Becky, Ronda, and Charlotte.
Yeah, but they can't mention Benoit. So
there's been plenty of triple threat main events that have been bigger, right? I think the real question is what I think. So here's what I think is going to happen in the match. What's probably going to happen, and if they were smart, what happens is I put Seth Rollins over, and I have Paul Heyman join up with Seth Rollins, and that's the long-term storyline for this. Because I don't think Paul Heyman benefits very much from being with Roman anymore. I don't think he benefits at all from being with CM Punk. I think CM Punk should just be his own guy. He doesn't need a Paul Heyman type to be on his side. I think Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins as the duo coming out, winning this match, and kind of, putting down the other two, kind of elevates Seth Rollins a lot. It gives him a win when he's been the workhorse for the company for a long time. I think he probably deserves to win this match. And storyline-wise, it makes the most sense. I don't see Roman winning. I could see Punk winning and have him win his big WrestleMania main event, be a big, shower with confetti and everything, and like all the people coming out to help hold them up. I could see.
Yeah, and any confetti drop is gonna be for
happens,
John Cena.
There's no reason
John
for
Cena wins.
And I'm not that excited about this. I don't feel like this is a WrestleMania worthy main event. I think this is a match that can happen on any. This could be a main event of like Bad Blood or any other pay-per-view, but this doesn't feel like a WrestleMania main event. And maybe I'm wrong for saying that. And I guess it's night one, so it's not even the main event. It's just the closing of the first half, right? Technically.
Right.
So, but I don't see this being that match. It's just okay.
All right. So my take on it, first off, what a disappointment, because last year, as we know, that first main event that took place, the outcome of that event determined what was going to happen in the main event of the next night. And because it had that impact, both nights were at like crescendo of excitement, right?
Good point, yeah. Without that being attached, this one, it's going to be that big a deal.
Quite frankly, if you like these guys, great. If you wanted to see them at WrestleMania, they're getting their match, and it's going to be a good match in the ring. They're all going to do their stuff. They're going to do a really good show in there. But no title on the line, no stakes whatsoever. Who cares who wins or loses this? They're all going to just go on to something else anyway. It won't affect any of them in any real way. I'll be honest, I didn't like this plot line at all. And then the 1 week where they were doing their contract signing, and during the contract signing, Punk says, that wasn't the favor I was owed. And I was like, wait, now this is interesting. Don't tell what the favor is. Have it be the big mystery leading into WrestleMania. Have that be the reason to see the match. And then all of a sudden, the next week, they do the segment again. And he said, the favor is that I want Paul Heyman in my corner. What? That's stupid. That's not even a good favor you're asking for. What is he going to do? Stand there and yell? Big fucking deal. It's like, I want Paul Heyman to somehow campaign for me to get a title match or something. Okay, that makes sense. If you win the match, Paul Heyman gets you a title match. And then maybe the next night at WrestleMania, there's a surprise title match, CM Punk versus the winner of Cody Rhodes and Cena, or maybe he's involved in it in a triple threat. Instead, you literally made it the absolute worst stipulation. And
that is pretty fucking stupid.
You spoiled it before WrestleMania.
But so far,
so now why do I care about this match?
I don't know if you noticed yet, but every single match he's hated. He's not been happy or excited about a single match yet. Guys, I'm a wrestling fan. By the way, I hate every single fucking wrestling match.
And I will completely agree with you. If Roman wins, who cares? Doesn't affect him whatsoever. He'll be on to something else. If CM Punk wins, who cares? Is even if right now, if Paul Heyman said, I'm leaving Roman Reigns and I'm going to go with CM Punk permanently, it still doesn't really matter. It's not that big of a deal. But if Seth wins this, if you really think about the long-term booking here, Seth has lost almost every major match this year. He lost against CM Punk at the inaugural Netflix WrestleMania, or Raw. Sorry about that. He lost again when it mattered, what match was it? Oh, of course, Royal Rumble. He didn't get to do anything there. He keeps losing every major opportunity that's handed to him. So this is his opportunity to get over not only on two guys who he really hates, but also if Paul Heyman were to jump ship and join with him, that's a plot because he's been with Roman, he's been with Punk, he hasn't been with Seth. That would be an interesting plot line.
Kinky.
But I think that's why everyone on the
Gonna
internet
get a low
is
quad
and
strangle
sadly,
in there, huh?
with WWE, when everyone on the internet seems to be feeling like something's going to happen, they hear that, and then they tend to not do
It
it.
looks like he's gonna be doing
So,
overtime
I
because
am
they still got a
nervous
whole
that
nother night
they're
of
hearing this now. That
WrestleMania
would've
to
been the
talk
best
about.
plot, and now because people kind of got wind of what it's going to be, they're just going to do something stupid. And the truth is, I don't care. Like, I really wanted to see if it would have some kind of a impact on this title match with Cody and Cena, and now it doesn't. So since there's no carryover night 1 to night 2, it really deflates from last year where you had that excitement from night 1 to night 2. You don't have that anymore. Personally, I want Seth to win. I think that would be the best outcome.
I want Seth Rollins to
think
win too.
They might just have like Roman win or something, just for no reason, just because they like Roman so much. But I guess we'll have to see. The truth is, I just don't think it matters. I think that sadly, unless Seth wins, this has become a kind of a throwaway match. And this was supposed to be the other big main event, and there's just no reason. It's just not exciting because there's nothing at stake, right? Nothing at all.
There's no stake. Like, what happens? I mean, if Seth wins and he gets Paul, it's a storyline that comes out. But even if he does win, he just gets bragging rights, right? That's all that it is. It's just 4 bragging rights. There's not really like a grudge match or, I mean, not everything has to be. People just hate each other. But, like, I don't get the vibe that Cena hates Roman Reigns. I don't even get the vibe.
Are we losing him?
Freaking Seth Rollins. I get the vibe that Roman Reigns hates Seth Rollins, not CM Punk. There's not bad blood between everyone.
We're losing our host, guys. We're losing our host.
So it makes sense for him to win, but even if he doesn't, it's
Gahul,
just...
you have officially become a robot. You seriously, you sound like a robot right now. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. You were actually good most of the night. Oh man.
1 second.
Yeah.
Womp womp.
I'm gonna disconnect and then reconnect. Okay.
Actually, hold
Even
on.
the internet doesn't want to watch this. Terrible.
It went good.
It went good. Hold on. Talk again.
You good? Hello.
Hello. Uh-oh. I think we lost him.
Let's disconnect and I'll reconnect.
Okay.
Just maybe that might help.
All right.
1 second.
Hold on. He's gonna disconnect and let's see what happens. Because it was good for a second, then it went bad again. Let's see.
Yeah, it's still bad. I don't know what's going on. My internet's fine.
Oh man. Yeah.
It's PPP. PPP's taking them out. Or is it the Comcast troll?
We got a few more matches to cover from the night 2. I guess we'll just push through and see what happens. What can we do? We'll make the best of it here. Sorry, everyone, for the robotic sounding finale.
It seems like it's better. It seems to. Oh no, never mind. I've talked again.
You talk. It's good. It's half and half. Like it's your first half of your sentence is good, and then you go robotic. So let's see how we do it. All right. Let's get to night 2, everyone. So night 2 of WrestleMania. Again, this isn't necessarily the order the matches are going to be. This is how they kind of listed them online. First match: Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez defending the women's tag championships against Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. And this one, in my opinion, is actually I think would be an interesting match, but it's just so weird how it came together because to me...
So it's going to be interesting,
like
but you
Lyra
still hate it.
Valkyria
Good to know. You still fucking hate it.
The women's intercontinental title. I don't know why she's not. Like something happened there. Like maybe they had a plan and it fell through. So instead they put together this really mishmashed match. But I think, like I said, wrestling-wise, I do feel like the match will be entertaining and fun. But the fact that there's been no build-up, it was within 2 weeks that Bayley and Lyra decided to team up. They've had like 1 match to qualify for this, and now they're having the tag match at WrestleMania. It doesn't really get you too excited for it. You know what I'm saying? So I guess we'll see.
Man on the left is Gahul.
Insanely quickly put together.
He's not very good, Ben, so far. Pretty boring.
I can get through this without cutting out. I think I'm okay. It seems to be okay right now. So if I get robotic, just cut me off, and I apologize. I'm not sure what it is.
Okay.
Just Discord being Discord, obviously. Piece of shit software. So I think obviously Lyra's supposed to face Becky, and Becky's not coming back right now.
Right.
So
Right.
that's the answer. I think that this should have been Bailey and maybe like one of the one of the damage control ladies from back then. They reunite with her to like with what's her face, Dakota Kai maybe, or like Asuka or Kyrie, get her or something.
Asuka.
Or maybe Roxanne Perez.
Asuka's
have
the
Bailey team
best.
with someone from there. And then I think it was probably Bailey and Roxanne teaming to do this title match. And then Becky's on the show. Lyra doesn't really have another challenger, so we put her in this match, and maybe Lyra. I mean, I don't see them winning. Like Liv and Raquel are gonna win, so it doesn't really matter who they have faced. And I guess it's just one less match on the show. And frankly, while I appreciate that, while you want all the titles to be represented at WrestleMania, realistically as a fan, the less matches that are on this show, the better. Because these are long shows. They go super long. The matches are usually given a lot of time. So even if this, we cut that women's intercontinental match, we still have the champion on the show wrestling in a different match. You're not depriving her of her spot. I don't know. It's a hasty build to titles that don't mean jack shit. They should get rid of the women's tag titles. They don't mean anything. They don't have dedicated women's tag.
Man, this guy really
titles
hates
for
the
most
women
part.
wrestlers,
They
doesn't he?
barely have dedicated men's tag.
He's not said
titles. I just don't
anything
think that
nice about him yet, has he?
and frankly, it's hard enough because they kind of bounce back and forth between NXT and the main roster, the tag titles. They really don't do much with them. They don't mean anything until, what they use them for is when one of their single stars loses their main title, they give them the tag titles to keep them in the mix. Like, oh, they're still a champion, right? Like with Liv.
Right.
This whole reason that Liv has the tag titles is not because she's a great tag team wrestler. It's because they want to keep her in the storylines because she's a main part of the Judgment Day and Rhea Ripley and Dom Mysterio. She's a main part of that storyline, right? And
Right.
so she's going to be a featured character. She better be a champion, So that's why it's there. Liv and Raquel are going to win, and it's going to further. I don't know. We'll get this to when we get to the Braun Breaker and Finn and that match. What's going to happen there, because I imagine the Judgment Day implosion is imminent, and I think this is going to be part of the story.
Okay.
Unfortunate.
I think that number one, Liv and Raquel are only the tag titles because they want Judgment Day to be prominent, and they really have floundered in the last several months. There hasn't been much going on with them. They keep teasing this breakup, and then they just give up on it, and then it's back, and then they give up on it again. So by giving them the tag titles, it gave them something to do now. It gives them a match for WrestleMania. Bailey, as I've said, since I've seen her wrestle, since she returned, and started wrestling in the last few months, has done nothing. She literally hasn't done anything of note. She didn't really beat anyone of note. She just kind of floundered. She's lost a bunch of times, to people. And so they needed to give something, right? They needed to do something here. And I feel like this was a way to get all four women at a match at WrestleMania that kind of is meaningless. You're right. I think Lyra was supposed to wrestle either Bailey or someone else. And it just never came to fruition. It's sad because I hate when you have a title that is meaningless. And I feel like right now that IC title is meaningless because it's not being wrestled for. The defense matches she's having aren't that great or meaningful. And I think it'll be a decent match, maybe to curtain jerk for night 2. But I don't think it's going to be anything of massive note either. I don't think anyone's going to freak out at it.
So again, it's another match that he doesn't want to watch.
I wouldn't curtain jerk this match because you want an exciting match. No offense, but
that's
it
fine,
should be
Sonny. You don't need to be doing all that.
Two bigger matches, because it should go on before the IC match later on, the men's IC match later on that night. But I wouldn't lead with this because you want to lead with something exciting. You want to lead with some kind of high flying move, something big. I would maybe do the the SmackDown men's tag match to lead or something, but I don't. I really, if that thing in the match is happening on the show, I'm assuming it is the DIY versus.
No.
Street Profits.
No, it's actually, I believe it's going to be pre-show because I went through and it was not listed as part of the main matches for either night. I was shocked too.
Man.
I thought
It's gonna be on. It's gonna be on SmackDown. I heard that it's gonna be on SmackDown tomorrow.
It got demoted, right? It was gonna be, and then they kicked it back to be like a build-up.
You can't even make the pre-show, man.
Yeah, pretty bad.
That's what you do with the tag division, man. But I would do another match that's a little bit more exciting to start the show off. You don't want something exciting and like that one to pop the crowd. I don't see the women's tag matches being that exciting. No offense.
I agree with you. It's just a kind of a throwaway match to have them on the card, I feel. So
Yep, the women are just throwaway match, guys.
We're talking about that match. 25 subs just got dumped on Kick from OP360 Tom. Thank you so much, OP360 Tom. In addition to that, Hard No.
Wow, someone who's never shown up
also
before
gifted
finally
a sub.
shows up and gives a
So
bunch
that's
of money.
another one. And then I just
Who
got,
didn't see that one coming?
I want to shout out as well. This means we did hit our goal. This means we will be opening a pack of cards. We'll do that at the end of the show.
Wow, guys, we had to
Get through
go.
this card, because we have like 3 or 4 more matches quickly to talk about here. Slayer did a $2 tip. He says, fun fact, last year WrestleMania ended the longest reign in forever, excuse me, the longest reigning titles. The Intercontinental title, the World Heavyweight title, and the WWE Champion all lost at last year's WrestleMania. As for the tag team gauntlets, they did the same push for the first tag team lasting until the end this week in NXT for Hank and Tank. See, I don't watch NXT, so I don't know anything about that. I don't even know who the hell Hank and Tank are. Also, the winner of the Fatal 4-Way Tag Match at NXT Stand and Deliver will challenge the WWE Women's Tag title next week on NXT. So there's going to be a Fatal 4-Way on NXT, and the winner faces the actual Raw Women's Tag Champs. That's confusing as hell. That's really confusing.
It's confusing. So previously there was NXT Women's Tag Champions and the main roster Women's Tag Team Champions. But a couple years ago, they unified the titles, right? So they are now just one championship that goes back and forth, and sometimes they're on NXT, sometimes they're on the main roster. So sometimes the Women's Tag Team Champions will just not be on main TV for months at a time because they're held by someone in NXT. And that's why these titles are like worthless. They mean nothing because they don't even like appearance. You don't even know where to watch for them.
Wow.
You know, it's like it's a real disaster.
That is pretty annoying, though.
Get rid of them, I think, but you can't. I mean, they need to do something. Maybe I might be
guys need $150 super chat.
I mean,
where's my $150 super chat, guys?
There shouldn't be a championship that's shared between all 3 brands. That's just ridiculous.
That is confusing and ridiculous. I don't think that's a good idea at all. I had no clue about that. No wonder. I don't even know about half the time when they're talking about stuff on NXT. It's like it affects you'll have a Raw star on NXT. Like, what? Why? I guess they've been doing this for a while. Okay. Yeah. AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. I mean, this in my opinion, in a nutshell, this match, I want to see the match. I want to see AJ Styles and Logan Paul wrestle, and here's why. It's purely scientific for me because I haven't really seen Logan Paul that much. I've seen him in a couple of matches. I thought he was decent, but everyone keeps telling me Logan Paul is like the ultimate case of someone who's not a wrestler but crosses over and has become a good wrestler. But I haven't seen it. I've only been watching since January. I saw him in the Rumble. I thought he was decent. I saw like 1 or 2 matches. I thought he was decent. I want to see.
You're so jealous of him though, and I love it.
Like AJ Styles, because if they are actually both really good, I know AJ Styles is good. I think this could be like a barn burner of a match.
AJ Styles is phenomenal. Shut the fuck up, DSP.
The plot between these two is like, in my opinion, non-existent. It was slapped together. The storyline is just stupid. I can't even get through the segments when when they're doing them. I just don't. I want to see it on paper. I want to see the physicality and the technical aspect of it. I could give 2 shits about the storyline because, let's be honest, it doesn't matter anyway. It's not going to continue after WrestleMania. Yeah. So, what do you think?
I think this is the match that opens the show, actually. This would be a great opener match. It's exciting. Okay. It's going to be high flying. It's going to be a lot of... It's someone the crowd really hates and someone the crowd really loves. I've seen a lot of Logan Paul. I've seen most of his matches in WWE. I haven't been super on WWE the last couple years. I've gone in and out with it.
Okay.
But I would say Logan...
So you're a huge wrestling fan who hasn't watched wrestling. Good to know. Just like DSP.
He's very good at getting heel heat. You can't deny that. He's great...
Yes,
he needs too much heel heat. Maybe it's the wrong kind of heel heat. But I don't buy that he's the best non-wrestler. That's still Kurt Angle. You can't make an argument that's not Kurt Angle. He obviously is the best crossover wrestling star. But, I mean, for someone who's so quickly gotten so good, he's a great in-ring wrestler. And he's really good. He's very athletic. He knows how to do good moves. He knows how to make things look crisp. He seems pretty safe, too. If I'm picking who wins this match, I'm going to pick Logan Paul. I think AJ's probably on his way out of WWE, personally. I think he's either retiring or maybe going to do one last run in AEW or maybe go back to New Japan or something. I think he's on his way out of the WWE. Personally, I think he's ready to... I think personally he's going to retire soon. He's getting up in age. He's still in great shape. But you might as well retire while you still have some physicality and mobility. He's made enough money to last him a lifetime. So, I see...
Yeah, with all of his medical issues, all that money may not last very long.
Out soon. So I have Logan go over, have this way to end the AJ Styles career, end the AJ Styles story in WWE. There'll probably be some kind of involvement with Karrion Kross because he's been on the TV with them a lot. I don't want that. I just want this to be a straight match. I think it'd be better as just a straight match with no storyline bullshit. I think people would probably enjoy it more if it was just Logan getting some heat. But I see this the way Logan will win. Probably Jake Paul will be there because they're in Vegas. I imagine he'll get involved somehow.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I totally that slipped my mind that he might be there.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Jake Paul will probably show up, or one of the other. Every time Logan wrestles, one of his some internet celeb, some big it's either like KSI or I Show Speed or something shows up for the match too. Maybe you'll get Mr. Beast or something. I don't fucking know.
Mr. Beast showing up, that'd be hilarious.
Guys are gonna do a wrestling move with them, and it'll be probably pretty funny, and it'll be a good way to start off the show. It'd be fun, but I definitely see Logan winning. I agree with you. The story.
Oh, go ahead.
The storyline build has been terrible. I don't think the storyline for this has been good at all. The segments on TV have been horrible, but the match is probably gonna be pretty good. I think.
I hope the match is good because if I finally see what everyone's been telling me about Logan Paul, I'd be happy to see it rather than be just kind of like I'm still waiting for it. I agree with you that if Logan Paul is a good wrestler, he should win this. I don't think legitimately he would, but I think he's the one who needs the push.
AJ Styles should win it because fuck Paul.
I remember when AJ first came into WWE and it was a hot shit, and he was the house that AJ built.
That'd be hilarious, Benny, but I highly doubt it.
But now, let's be honest, what has he really been doing? Not much. So this gives him something to do at WrestleMania. Maybe this is the end. Maybe this is his farewell tour. He's just not publicizing it like John Cena is. And if that's the case, great. He's done a lot for the company. Like you said, he's made a ton of money. So good for him. And I agree with you. I think Logan will win. Braun Breaker versus Penta versus Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio. I wouldn't be surprised if there's 7 more guys in this match. But
go Dominic.
It's probably just going to be the 4.
I want the heel to win that so badly.
Title.
I love Braun Breaker. Don't get me wrong, but go Dominic.
7 plot lines at this point. All right, it's the culmination of Penta. Debuted in January, and finally he's getting a big match. This is the culmination of Braun, kind of the I'll stand against anyone kind of tough dog mentality defending the title. This is the culmination of the falling out of the Judgment Day plot line where Dom and Finn have been at each other's throats. Dom wants to keep adding new members to Judgment Day ever since one of them got injured in January, and Finn says no, no, no. And then they win a match, they lose a match, they lose a match, they win a match, they're at your back. Oh, they're friendly, now they're not anymore. It's very complicated. It's very convoluted. Honestly, for me, I think the match will be good, but might be messy. I feel like Carlito's going to get involved. I feel like others.
I'd love for Paige to return, but I don't think she does. She left on bad terms.
But ultimately, I think it will be a fun.
But you never say never, right? At
the end of the day, I would like to see Penta win the match. I don't think he will, but that's what I desire. I desire that Penta came into this company with a bunch of backing. He kind of floundered for a couple of months there, facing these guys, these mid-carders. They finally got him out of all that. They got him into a title picture. He's had some good matches now in this title picture. I would like to see him come out the winner. But I'm worried WWE will do their usual bullshit where they gave him this good push, and now it's just going to be all for naught, and then he's back to the drawing board wrestling mid-carders again for 2-3 more months. So I'm not sure. I think it's been kind of a random shuffle to get this match together for WrestleMania, the way that they did it last minute, all of a sudden. But I'm okay with it as long as the match is good, and I hope that Penta wins. Who do you think will win? How do you think it'll go?
I'm with you. I think Penta winning makes probably the most sense. Realistically, it's probably going to be... I think it might be Dom, actually. I think Dom...
Yes, Dominic!
Maybe even pinning Finn. Actually.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Storyline, it makes the most sense, right? I mean, like, if you think about what would happen, the best thing that would happen with the storyline for this, that makes the most sense.
I like Dom as a heel. I like Dom as getting the heel heat. I don't like Dom as a champion. I think he's the great heel that will go out there and always get people against him so he can control plot lines. He can be the focus. I don't buy him being Intercontinental Champion.
I don't think they're going to have any people doing outside interference like that.
Right now, I just don't believe
There's already too many people in the match.
He should win it this early.
He's been in the company for a long time. He's been wrestling for the company for a long time. I don't think an extra year is going to help him. I think if you pull the trigger, you might as well pull it now. I don't see... But I think we can probably agree, regardless, Braun's losing the title, right? Braun's dropping the title, but he's not taking the pin.
I think so.
He's not gonna be. It's either gonna be Finn or Dom that takes the pin. I think. I can see Penta winning. I think it makes sense to have Penta win and have the Judgment Day break off be like its own separate plot line away from the Intercontinental title. But Braun Breaker absolutely needs to lose his title and then not get pinned and then immediately go into a world title picture. I think he is clearly the most impressive physically, on promos, everything. He to me is future build around this guy. He's future Brock Lesnar material. I think he's already there. Like everything he does is insanely amazing. He knows how to cut a great promo. He's got great wrestling history. He's got the look. He manages to make those goofy looking wrestling singlets look intimidating, which is really hard to do. It's hard to do. Wear one of those and still look like a monster. But he looks like a freaking monster. His spears are amazing. I think you have to push this guy. Either have him face Jay or Gunther. Hopefully Gunther. I mean, Gunther for just Braun promo going to SummerSlam. Can you imagine? That would be so much fun. Or you have him face Cody or Cena. If Cody wins, I see Braun Breaker versus Cody. Great program. That'd be awesome too. But
I think that no matter what happens, the good news about WrestleMania is a lot of these ongoing plot lines are finally going to end and we get to hit the reset button. Like, I just want to see Gunther out of that plot line with Jay and doing something refreshing. I want to see Braun move on to something rather than I just hold this title and I randomly have matches that don't mean anything. I want to see good stuff for the guys who are either up and coming or great wrestlers, and it's kind of been stagnant for a few months. So now we'll actually be able to do that. So I'm happy. And you're right. I actually think Braun dropping the title, but moving on to something better is better for him than if he gets the title retention.
Season 3 finally dropping. So Holy shit.
Let's see what happens.
And like I said, believe when we see it, right?
More than him, especially Penta.
Excellent. Yeah, I think Penta would be great Intercontinental Champion, but you put the Rock into this guy. You can't not. He's literally built perfect to be a main eventer. And barring injury, I don't see a reason why you put any kind of brakes on this guy. Full steam ahead.
Agreed. This match, I don't know. This just seems, to be honest to me, this is like my time waster of night 2. Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre, which is sad to say.
Go
I
Drew.
don't think either of them are bad wrestlers or bad promo guys. They both have done great things in this company. I just don't think that this is it for them. I think this has been a really shitty year so far for both of them. They really haven't done much of anything. Drew getting beaten by every single person in a row. Damian barely having any matches that mattered. And when he wins, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't get him anything. So I just think this is kind of a shitty plot line of Drew is angry, sour grapes that Damian Priest cost him a couple matches over the last few years. And all of a sudden, he's the focus of his ire because no one else will wrestle him. You know what I mean? He lost to Seth. He loses to CM Punk. He loses to everyone. Who didn't I lose to yet? Oh, let's get Damian Priest here. Let's beat him up at WrestleMania. I don't know. I'm just not feeling it. I feel like this is going to be a lot of people's, piss break. They're going to get up and walk away and go use the bathroom because there's nothing going on in this match. And that's sad because, again, I don't think those guys deserve that distinction, quite frankly.
They were great this year. Right, within the last year, not like since 2025, but within last year's WrestleMania.
Sure.
Drew was in the hottest feud of. I mean, I hated the SummerSlam match with him and Punk. I thought it was atrocious, but they played it off with bad blood. He was in the hottest feud in the company with CM Punk, right? And Damian Priest was world champion coming out of WrestleMania. These were major characters in the company that, since Royal Rumble, have basically been put to the sidelines and they just don't matter. Which it's let them down. And frankly, there's been enough time on TV where you can maybe instead of running the 10th recap package of the night, you could do a good, Damian Priest match or a good Drew McIntyre TV match or a good promo battle for them that actually matters.
Yeah, I just don't want Drew to win.
And that's why.
Yes, Overlord, I can't wait.
The build and the booking for this WrestleMania has
everything I've been watching is just waiting in this
on paper should be
patient of Overlord.
They haven't built it the way they should, but. Probably when you go watch this match, it's probably gonna be a great in-ring match. It'll probably be really fun. The crowd's probably gonna it's gonna be great, probably physically. So it probably is gonna it's really underhyped, but it's probably gonna over-deliver when you get in the ring. Because they're two great in-ring wrestlers, two big guys, and a fun Haas match. If you take all the storyline away from it and just look at it as a match on paper, it seems like a great match. Right. But you're right. The story is not there, and the story is the number one thing for most people, but for the people live in attendance, they're probably gonna have a great time. I feel jealous for his friend, that one friend whoever.
Yeah, second row.
Slayer.
He'll have a blast.
Slayer. Flair's friend is gonna have a great time. He's gonna have a ton of fun.
All right, so we already talked about the main event of night 2, Cody Rhodes versus John Cena up front. So the only other match left to talk about is the triple threat Women's World Championship. Io Sky defending against Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley.
Love Rhea.
The thing here's my.
But I'd
thing
like to
about
see
this-
Io
this
keep it.
build-up. I liked it when it started. When the story was Io is the champion. She actually legit beat Rhea, but no one takes her seriously. Every week it's about Rhea and Bianca, Rhea and Bianca. If that is how it started, and then it advanced, and weeks later, Io is taken seriously now because she's shown her prowess and she's kicked their butts and stuff. I would have liked this plot. Instead, here we are like 2 months later, and it's still, she's not taken seriously. Every week it's still Rhea and Bianca, Rhea and Bianca. It's like, well, now I don't take her seriously because we weren't able to take her seriously for like 2 months of the build up to WrestleMania. The truth is, I would like Io to retain and then actually get a real title reign because she hasn't had one. She had the title and just was in the backdrop while these two were in the forefront. So hopefully, eventually, WWE will take her seriously and she'll get a real title run. But like you said previously,
Like I said, I want Io
don't
to
think
win
that's
it.
what WWE
But if not Io,
wants. I
then
feel
go
like she
Rhea.
was the placeholder so that these two could get their rivalry going. And I think that it's probably going to be Bianca who
I
wins.
say DSP hit his goal,
They
so what
will
the fuck
give
does
it
he
back to
care?
Rhea. I don't know.
He can
But I
have a
think
stream right
the
now
least
for all he
likely thing
cares.
would be that Io would win, but I want her to win. So realistically, I think you're right. I think Bianca's going to win, and then you're probably going to end up with a plot line of either like Naomi or Jade versus Bianca for a bit for the title, because I don't know what else they would do. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Bianca wins and then it's Rhea versus Io for a bit. I don't know, but I think Io's going to drop it, and I think you're right about Bianca. That's my take.
That's
So,
right. He's got to open his
He had a
cards.
pretty long
Will
title
he
run
forget
in
to
the
open his
Women's
cards?
Championship coming into last year's WrestleMania. And it was okay title run. It was fine. She was a heel back then, so it was a little bit different than if she was a face. She hasn't had a proper face run, right? But I mean, I think winning the title and being inserted into this match has actually hurt her more than it's helped her, right? I think it would have been better if she'd just been waited and like gotten to be the main focus of the story later on. Personally, I think it's been a big mistake that they didn't just build this as, because to me, Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair are the two biggest women's stars they have. And they haven't done just Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair in a one-on-one match at WrestleMania. They haven't done that yet. At least to my knowledge, but as far as I recall, they haven't done that. And I'm sorry if I'm roboting.
Yeah, it's roboting pretty bad.
Sorry, man. It's I don't know what's going
Toma
on.
arigato, Mr.
But
Roboto.
I think it would have been better if they, because originally it was just when Bianca Belair won the Elimination Chamber, it was Rhea versus Bianca, and then they had Io win the match like the next Monday. I would have just had it be Rhea versus Bianca and have Io win like SummerSlam and have her just be the sole focus going into like a different match, right? Or have Io face Tiffany Stratton and win the title off of her and have it go and have that title.
Yeah, right.
I would have done that. I think her being shoehorned into this match, I mean, she's definitely the best in-ring wrestler of the three.
Right.
And her being in the match will make the match in-ring better, I think. But Blockbuster, like, I'm booking, like, the two top women's wrestlers, single stars. It's like, why not just have them face each other in a singles match? It's a bigger match to me. It feels like a bigger WrestleMania match. It could have main evented night one even, I think.
Yeah.
It's that big of a... Because they haven't done it yet. It's the first time ever in a WrestleMania, at least. Bianca versus Rhea Ripley, the two biggest stars they built up in the last 5 years. Do that match, but instead they've got as a triple threat.
And DSP's getting antsy. He's like,
I
man, I need to get out. I need to clock out. I need to play some WWE champions, guys.
With Naomi or Jade.
It wasn't a fake tip. It was a
Rhea,
membership
and I don't know what to
bomb
do with Io
from
after this. I think
OIC.
that's a bit of a shame. I think it's.
I mean,
not
from
the
a
best
name no
match
one's ever
I've
seen
seen.
before.
I think this match
But it was
is one of the
OIC.
most matches on the whole show.
I
frankly.
agree.
I think it's one of the
Unlike
cohesive.
unlike the IC title match where when Braun drops that title, he can move on to something great. If Penta wins the title, he's got something interesting to do. If either Finn or Dom cost themselves the title, they've got advancement in their plot line. In this plot, you've got two people who are asked out. You really do. When Bianca wins, Io's got nothing to do. Rhea's got nothing to do. You hit that reset, but where are they going? This is what we were talking about, the problem with the women's division. They don't really have anything set up that here's the next person in line. Here's the next believable person. That's a big problem. So you don't want to see this.
You know
match
it's
over and over.
Cyclops.
You don't want to see Io and Rhea.
Gotta
again.
replace Cat with
But
someone,
what are
right?
they gonna do? I don't know. I'm with you on this, but I'm feeling like Bianca's gonna win. So overall, now we've covered every match. What is your feeling overall about WrestleMania 41? Do you think it's gonna be good, or do you think it's gonna be a disappointment?
If we go purely by the booking, it seems like it's gonna be a bad show on paper, right? I think it's gonna be a bad. It seems like a bad WrestleMania. It seems like the main event of night one doesn't feel like a real main event. The main event of night two hasn't been built to the level it should be. But and you could say with the ticket prices, they technically have sold less tickets than they did last year, so the crowds are gonna be a little bit down. But when you're gonna watch the show this weekend,
They'll still sell
it's
out.
probably gonna be awesome.
It'll be one
It's
of
gonna
those.
be
All right,
like
guys, 3 hours
certain
until the
fans,
show starts.
the big
Cut the tickets in
arena, the
half.
big musical entrances. It's pretty hard. I think they're probably going to deliver when it actually comes time to actually get in the ring and resolve the storylines and move forward. I think they're probably going to deliver. I could be wrong. It could go down bad. I think night one has a chance of actually being a bad show. I don't think night two will be bad.
I think just
That's
the
my take.
Cody Cena match alone will fuel night two. Even if the whole night sucks ass, Cody Cena being the main event, the end of the show, likely is
Go,
going to be
Cena,
the reason
go.
why night two is good. You're right.
Why
Night
they said
one,
to host it
I feel like night
on
one has potential
Easter Sunday, I have no
to
idea,
have
because
some
guess
good
what I'll be
things.
doing on Easter?
We'll see what happens.
Not watching
But
wrestling.
ultimately, I will say this: there's no.
Yeah, I'm
way
not gonna be
this
watching
will
wrestling
happen
on Easter,
at
'cause
some
guess
point.
what I'll be
There's
doing on
no way
Easter?
at all
Not
I
watching-
can see that happening.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be watching
There
wrestling,
is some
people.
potential for some wacky, wild
I'm gonna be
stuff
with
to
my
happen. What if
family,
Rock shows up,
doing
right?
shit.
What if some zany stuff happens? But for the most part, I think it'll still be fun. I do. I'm a little sad, I'll be honest, because I feel like maybe I should have got back into wrestling last year, because I feel like I missed out on the biggest thing that happened in wrestling, and I decided to get into it back then.
Kind of like how you waited to do your politics show until after the election.
I
Dumbass.
saw parts of the COVID Wrestlemania, the empty arena Wrestlemania at the Performance Center, which was
That was
awful,
rough.
you know.
That was rough.
And
Yeah.
since then, I haven't watched it. So, this being the first WrestleMania in so many years, I think it'll be exciting to watch, especially as it's in Vegas. I'm sure the set's going to be insane. The crowd's going to be hot. But, yeah, I hope that
That's how it's
overall it's
PW Army.
entertaining. I think overall I will be entertained. And yes, the match, my most anticipated
They've got
match
most of the kinks
by
worked out,
far
thankfully.
is Cody versus Cena. I want to see how it's going to go. I want to see what they're going to do with it. I'm excited for that. So overall,
Yeah,
even
well,
if
it's
the rest
ice
of
fucking
WrestleMania
cold.
sucks,
That's DSP's
if that final
motto.
match goes well, I think that they're still going to go down and say it was a good show. So I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, the main event really makes the whole show, I think. But remember, historically, WrestleManias with bad builds, great show. WrestleManias with good builds, not so great show.
I guess we'll see.
I think we'll see what happens, but I'm excited for it. It's gonna be fun.
All right, so guys, that concludes the wrestling portion of the show. Just to be clear, I am doing Smark Guys this coming week. It's very different. I'm doing Smark Guys this coming Monday, April 21st, as a daytime stream at 12 noon Pacific time, broadcast here on DSP Reacts on YouTube, but also on my Kick channel, DSP Gaming Reel. It's a 4-hour WrestleMania recap super show. I'm going to be going through match by
fuck is he
match, what
thinking?
happened, my thoughts. I'm also going to have guests on. For example, you might have already heard Ethan Ralph has reconfirmed he will be on the show for about 30 to 45 minutes to give his thoughts. I'm currently talking with Cypress TV about having him have an appearance. And I've also talked with Gahul about figuring out how to do. I don't know if he'll be here live or not. We'll see. But it's going to be exciting after it's happened to have everyone on the show at one point talking about their takes and me also having mine. So that's a
I'll
big
be off
super
Monday.
show. After that,
So I might have
I'm
to
not
restream
doing
that.
another Smart Guys for at least another week. In fact, what I want to do is kind of see how the show does and judge, should I continue after WrestleMania doing Smart Guys weekly? Is it something I should stop doing weekly? Maybe do it monthly, maybe do it every 2 weeks. We'll see. We'll talk about it. But before we get to opening this pack of cards, I want to say,
A
Gahul,
foursome
thank you for
kinky.
appearing tonight. You were a great guest. The only
It's been
bad
great.
part was the mic going robotic. That was about it. But as a guest, you were good. You were a great co-host.
You hated on
Drama at the
PPP
beginning
with
was
me, so I
fun.
loved you.
I enjoyed having you as
Yeah.
a guest. Did you have a good time?
I had a really fun time, and I'm sure some people in the chat were pissed. I went all over the drama, and they'll say what they will
Of
about
course.
me, whatever they want to say. But I will just say this has been a once in a lifetime experience. Frankly, Phil, I don't want to glaze you or whatever, but man, this is like going on a show with like Nostalgia Critic or something for me. It's like you're one of my early internet, idols. Like you've been a guy I've been following like your whole career, frankly. And
Wow.
This has been great. I'm super.
Wow.
It's been fun.
Why?
I know we had a little bit of drama. I know we don't like it's a bit too much, but I had fun, and I'd love to come on again. I had a great time. I'm not sure if the chat liked me or not. If they didn't like me, I understand.
You're always gonna
not
have
for
the
everyone,
you're always
but
gonna have the peanut gallery, and the peanut gallery will always complain because, as I'd like to say, we have a bunch of larpers in my chat who pretend like they're viewers and fans, but
Yeah.
they're just here to crap on everything that I do. It wouldn't have mattered who my guest was tonight; they would have crapped on the guest anyway. It's all good. In my opinion, you did a good job.
Yeah, he wants
That's
to
what
quit the
matters.
show even though it
And
makes
I'm sure
him
we're gonna
money.
have people after the fact who appreciate.
It's
the
just too much
wrestling
work watching
commentary,
wrestling.
which is really the
Yeah.
meat of the show, the meat and potatoes, as they say.
And I frankly, even the people who hated me,
A lot of times I don't even
haters,
think he
love
watches.
you
I think he
guys.
just reads
It's always
reviews
fun
of
to
it
have people talk.
afterwards.
It's fun coming on doing shows.
He forgot
And,
the
that's what
Heavy
it's all
Rain
about.
line.
It's fun having some fun.
Big
and
fans
enjoying
of
it.
Heavy
So,
Rain.
Thank you, by the way, before we close out. I love the whole chat. Thank you to everyone who came out and watched tonight. It's been amazing. And I haven't had the actual window open to know what people have been saying, but
It's
you know,
all good.
I'm
It's
sure
all
people have
good
been in
because the chat gets crazy anyway. And, I try to moderate. We have moderators trying to help. But in general, it's better for us to just focus. And we got through the show, which is great. We got through all the matches and
Yeah.
everything with no problem. We do have one pack of cards to open here. Let's do it. Let's switch over the camera and see what we got. So this is 7 packs, all right, in this box. And we're going to see, can we get the rare pull tonight? I don't think we will. It seems like it's always the last pack that I select ends up having the rare card in it. We'll just go for this one right here. These are my favorite cards, not necessarily the rarest cards that I've gotten out of these boxes, but my favorite cards, including the Nakamura Chase
I'm gonna
card
say
that's numbered.
DSP. Ignore the chat because the chat didn't want to deal with any of this bullshit.
And honestly, just a regular
No
Austin
wonder
card,
his
'cause I
guests
like
didn't want
Austin,
to
so
read
that's
it
a better
either.
card than some of the other cards that I got that were more rare. All right, so here we go. 4 cards in this pack. Let's see what we got.
Get a drum roll going.
Here we go. So up first, it's NXT. And I'm going to actually go to auto adjust camera so that we can actually see these cards. Hold on one second while I go to manual focus, because it's going to be blurry, but once I get close, we'll actually be able to read it. So the first card, NXT Superstar, is... Who?
Nikita
Is that
Lyons.
Nikita Lyons. Wow.
So we got Nikita
Look at
Lyons.
the size of her.
And yeah, I haven't seen her. I only saw her when she debuted on NXT many years ago. So I don't know what she's looking like today or how she's performing today. I'm honestly shocked she's still on NXT and hasn't been promoted to the main shows by this point.
Unfortunately, there's a reason for that.
Did she get hurt or
She's,
something? Or?
She's got like the worst knees in the business. If she's wearing like double knee braces and she's like, she's in her 20s.
Oh wow!
I don't think she's long for the business. She's totally fucked physically. Like she cannot. She's like got worse knees than like Austin did, right? And that was late in his career. And she's still in NXT, right? So it's like, yeah.
Well, that sucks for her. By the way, more
poor
contributions to
girl.
come in. We'll shut those out in a second because there may be a second pack of cards now. We'll see. But in the meantime, we've got, what is this? Another
Injuries.
NXT. This,
So many
is this
injuries.
the rare one?
Oh,
Let's
we get
see.
the case. What
Well,
is
it's a chrome, but I don't think it's numbered. Hold on. Before I look at it, I'm pretty sure it's not numbered, but it has the really cool effect on it that I liked that was on the Nakamura card that was numbered. Let me look. It is Channing Stacks Lorenzo. Who in the fuck is Channing Stacks Lorenzo? Who is that? I don't know. Stacks? Who is that?
So there's like a mafia group gimmick in NXT. It's like an Italian mafia, and he Stacks. He's like one of the mob henchmen.
Oh my god. Well, I'll say this: the card looks nice because not only does it have the chrome effect, but it's got that broken like glass effect at the top. I really like that. Like I said, the Nakamura chase had it, but it's not a chase. It's not numbered. So I guess it's just a standard holochrome, but it's a better looking standard holochrome. All right.
I mean, no offense, but thank God you didn't get the chase card of freaking Stacks.
Stacks is the rare chase card. That would be something. I don't even know what the hell this is. KBKW.
Gotta get those packs open, dude.
It's Asuka and Kairi Sane. What does
Asuka.
KBKWR even mean?
I think it's their new tag team name. It's the Kabuki Warriors. Kabuki Warriors. That's what
Oh,
it is.
seriously? Kabuki, that's what it means? So, yeah, Asuka and Kairi Sane each built their reputation as fierce competitors in their native Japan. After coming to WWE, they joined forces as the Kabuki Warriors. Okay. So, I guess they're not in that tag team anymore, which is why I was so confused. But all right. All right, and our last card here, in this pack anyway, we got Johnny Gargano of SmackDown. Pretty nice card, I would say. That's a pretty good representation of Johnny Gargano there, but it's a standard card, not a chase card. Very nice there.
Nice.
So there's our 4, with Stacks being the guaranteed holochrome of that set. Now, in the meantime, more contributions came in. It looks like I got
More money.
a $5 tip here from Alex from Phoenix. He says, in my opinion, the mid-card stories for Mania 39 were the best that I had seen in years. Mania 40s card, toned it down a notch. But this year, the mid-card builds are severely lacking. Triple H better not get too relaxed, because WrestleMania should be having the best stories possible. There you go. Thank you, Alex. Yeah.
WrestleMania 39.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Bad.
He's too much of a robot now. Can't even tell.
I would agree with that. WrestleMania 39 was definitely one of the better WrestleManias to excellent. Across the board. It's also one of the best stages in WrestleMania history. Like, that was a great show. 39 and 40 back to back was kind of crazy. That's why I think 41 will still be pretty good, because it's been on a pretty good streak of good WrestleMania. So.
Okay. Yeah. So, FYI, you are robotic again, but I'm sure it'll clear up anyway. So in the meantime, Lance Catamaran gifted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is it 8? He gifted 8 subs on Kick. So 8 subs is the equivalent of $40 of support. And so because of that, we've actually topped $200. We got to 205, which means we're opening one more pack tonight before we adjourn. So cool. We get a double.
But it's not a goal, guys. It's not a goal.
Cards. Thank you, Lance Catamaran.
Bam Bam Bigelow. Now that's getting pinned.
All right. Let's do another one. Very nice. Let's just pick a random pack here.
That's a pin.
And get back to the camera. Here we go. All right. Second pack of the night. Topps Chrome cards here. 2025. Here we go. Thank you so much, guys. All right.
I was doing $20 make it 220.
Ignore that. I ripped
220 getting raised
wrong
up.
way like an idiot. Okay. All right. First card is SmackDown. Who do we got? We got Carmelo Hayes. Currently tagging up with The Miz. What an amazing team up that is. The what are they called? I forgot. He had a name for them last week.
It's Mellow Don't Miz, I think.
Mellow Don't Miz. What a great name. Very nice. Carmelo Hayes there from NXT. Pretty much doing nothing on SmackDown right now. All right. We got another SmackDown superstar, and it appears this is a standard holochrome, and it's a nice one. It is the Viper, Randy Orton.
Ooh.
Who currently has nothing to do at WrestleMania at all, which really sucks, because he's going to have a good match at KO, and
we didn't talk about that. Apparently, from what I understand, he's supposed to still have a match, but it's supposed to be like a mystery open challenge. That's supposed to maybe get announced on Friday. So we didn't even announce who we think that might be. I'm leaning towards Aleister Black returning. People talk about Nick Aldis, but I could see it being nice.
Yeah.
It's a good thing we pulled that card. I would have totally forgot about that match. But
I didn't even know.
He's still
That's
going to have a
cool.
match at WrestleMania.
Let's see. Who should he wrestle? He should wrestle. Eugene should return. Eugene should return from retirement.
Yes.
And wrestle.
That'd be a hell of a twist.
That would be the best match possible. There we go. All right. Our third card in this pack. Who the hell is this? Who is this? Hold on. I need my glasses. I think this might be one half of the War Raiders, but I can't really read it. It is. It's Eric. It's Eric of the War Raiders. There he is. It's one of the special ones where it's called, I don't know what it's called, like Allen and Gunther or something. And also it is one of the holograms. It's not a holochrome effect, but it's hologram. So wait a minute. I got 2 in 1 pack. That's rare, actually, to get 2 in 1 pack with that effect. So I actually I made out there with Orton and Eric in 1 pack with that effect. So, of course, that means the next one will be an autograph, right? No, son of a bitch. It's not an autograph. It is... Oh, we already have her, don't we? I think this might be a dupe. I'm pretty sure this is a dupe. Jasmine Nix. I have no clue who that is. Probably NXT superstar. Jasmine Nix.
NXT, yeah.
Never heard of her. All right. So there we go. There's our.
I know a lot about wrestling, and even
you don't know who she is. I swear, these cards. This is why these cards have worked, because they're such a trip. Because you don't know who half the people are. Like, who? What? I've been watching wrestling for 5 months.
You don't know who they
I don't know
are.
who these people are.
People who actually
Even on TV
like
anymore,
wrestling know who they
knows
are,
who
though.
they are. But that was pretty cool. I got 3 of the holograms. rather than just 2. So I actually got a bonus one. You're only guaranteed to get 1 in a pack. That's nice. And that leaves us with 5 packs left. You know, running as far as we can.
Hint,
I
hint,
don't know if
guys,
we'll open
hint,
on
hint.
Monday's WrestleMania Super Show or not. We'll have to see. But that's cool because I'm not spending more than $70 on those. That's for sure. Maybe we will get a rare autograph card in one of those final 5 packs. But all right, folks, that is it for Smart Guys episode 13, the pre-WrestleMania 41 build-up. I hope that you've enjoyed it. Again, Gahul, I would like to thank you. You were a great host tonight. You have any final words for our audience here?
I love the whole chat. Love all of you at home. You're all great and excellent. Phil, thank you for having me on. This was wonderfully fun. I'd love to come on again, and if the chat doesn't want me on, that's fine too, but I have the time of my life. So
Aren't you
thank
supposed to
This was
show up on Monday
Good
for the
stuff.
big
And I just
WrestleMania
reminded
React?
Coming up on Monday, WrestleMania Post Super Show, where I'm going to be covering all the matches from Mania. We're going to have Ethan Ralph back. We're going to have Cypress TV back. We're going to see if we can get Gahul back in some capacity. And we're all going to be giving our thoughts on how this WrestleMania 41 went. All right, everyone? So on
Gahul
behalf
looks
of
like a
Gahul,
Goomba
I'm
from the old
DSP.
Mario
Thank you
movie.
all for
Oof.
watching Smark, guys. We will see you for Monday after the WrestleMania dust settles. Peace out, everybody. And I will see you then.
Wow, that was a quick lockout. Like, he didn't even stop. Be like, all right, guys, we're going to have a little wind down from that, guys. We're going to wind down a little bit. Guys, we need to wind down after all that. Nope. Out. He got his money. He was fucking out. So.
I need that money. I really, really do. I need that money. I really need that money.
You know, Slideshow was scheduled nothing. He clocked the fuck out.
I need that money. I really, really do. I need that money. I really need that money.
Dude, how's it going?
That money. Hello, everybody. It's Dark Side Phil. I need that
I'll
money.
say it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm off tomorrow, but I'm still going to be getting to
Internet
bed here
bill.
pretty quick.
Stupid fucking trolls, man. I just want to chill. I rock back and forth on the X and Y axis. Tip me. So I could catch up on back taxes, making large stacks, refunding chargebacks, and my laugh sounds like act. 50 bitch here, 50 bitch there, 50 bit bitch. Raise your hands in the air. 50 bitch here, 50 bitch there, 50 bit bitch. Raise your hands in the air. I need that money. I really, really do. I need that money. I really need that money. Really need that money. I need that money. I really, really do. I need that money. I really need that money. Really need that money. Really, that money. I want to have chill streams. No detractor memes, bathroom breaks, playing WWE, relaxing chill session of Street Fighter 3. Like I'm getting my vibe back from 2017. 50 bitch here, 50 bitch there, 50 bit bitch. Raise your hands in the air. 50 bitch here.
I say I'm glad that this popped up as one of the things to pick because this is going to be a perfect way to end the stream.
50 bitch there, 50 bit bitch. Raise your hands in the air. I need that money. I really, really do. I need that money.
Pay my bills.
I really need that money. Really need that money. I need that money. I really, really do. I need that money. I really need that money. Really need
Tino's
that
gonna have a
money.
blast
Really,
with
that
this.
money. I'm the one who operated a successful YouTube channel. I'm the one who just filed for bankruptcy. I'm the one who didn't pay my taxes. I'm the one. Me. I'm the one who masturbated in front of children. I'm the one who got 4th place at Evo. I'm the one with a 10-year legacy. I'm the one. Me. 50 bitch here, 50 bitch there, 50 bit bitch. Raise your hands in the air. 50 bitch here, 50 bitch there, 50 bit bitch. Raise your hands in the air. I need that money. I really do. I need that money to pay my bills. The electric bill, the internet bill, the condo fees, my mortgage, my taxes, my back taxes, my current taxes, my state taxes, my federal taxes, my tax attorney, my tax guy, my tax accountant, my bankruptcy lawyer, all of my credit cards, my new setup, and a new laptop, PS5, Jen.
All the gin. But with that, guys, it is now literally 1 o'clock in the morning. I am tired as all get out. I'm sure a lot of you are as well. Thank you for watching. That was a shit show. Took over an hour before they actually got to wrestling. First hour was just them crying about PPP, their ex. And PPP did me wrong. He did me wrong too. Oh, it's so sad how he treated us. Oh, we'll love each other. We'll support each other. You're a bitch. Get over it, DSP. You have been a bitch for years, we know. But to really drag on PPP's ex, alright, PPP's ex, come on here and cry with me about how we were mistreated by PPP together. Like, really? That's how you're going with this? I don't know what the fuck you're thinking. But I guess this is how it goes, right? So yes, guys, thank you for watching. As always, like, subscribe, comment down below, and have one hell of a day. I might be able to stream after work on Saturday. I'll be busy tomorrow, so no stream. And then Sunday is obviously Easter. Unlike DSP who's streaming on Easter. I'll be with family. So Saturday after work, or possibly Monday for the Wrestlemania React show. I'll have to wait and see. But yes, I am getting the fuck out of here. And getting my ass to bed. How do you raid people on YouTube? I can probably just find her stream. Ah, she is live. I'll post her link. That's the link to her stream, so if you guys want to go over there and watch her for a bit. I mean, guys, you're really gonna cheat on me? Me with another streamer? I can't believe you guys would do that to me. Does LTG pee in the sink? Yes. I have a poll to walk in on.